The proud little glutton. 5. That's why Jean Tian felt so unhappy right now. He's finding it unfair by Xiaqin would always cuddle his sister while not cuddling him too. Bai Yin breaks out into a giggle. My precious Jean Tian really have grown up. You know how to be jealous of your own sister. Xiaqin doesn't dislike you. He only thinks that you should be more independent since you're a boy. He also loves you just as much as your sister. Really, the little glutton tilts his head to the side in an innocent manner. Big brother said he will teach me how to fight when I'm 3, but I want to learn now. I want to protect mother and sister. All right, I'll speak to Xiaqin about this and have him teach you earlier. Slightly humored by her boy's behavior. Ling Yin is your sister, so your responsibility is the same as your older brother. You must protect her. The little glutton nodded his head in heavy strides. Big brother said I am a man, so I will protect my sister. Any boy who wants to abduct my sister will feel the pain of me breaking their legs. In saying so, Jean Tian's expression grew incredibly proud, which in kind only causes his mother to get black lines running across her face. Who taught you that? Big brother did. He said all boys that want to get close to Ling Yin are coming with bad intention, so I must break their legs. They will swindle her away. His family's Ling Yin is so lovely, so there must be a lot of bad people who wants to kidnap her. I must be strong and powerful. Only then can I protect her from anyone who wants to take advantage. Twitching along the mouth, Bai Yin wanted to facepalm herself. What did Xiaqin teach his brother? How did Jean Tian become so possessive and violent? You can't think like that, Jean Tian. Your sister Ling Yin will need to marry someday. You only need to pay closer attention when observing. Bai Yin's very much willing to care for her daughter for a lifetime, but that doesn't mean she doesn't want the girl to find happiness. What is marry? Can I eat it? The little glutton asks this with a clueless and naive face. Knowing her words are too mature for the baby, Bai Yin lifts the child up to her lap for explanation. Marriage is when a woman and man makes a vow to share their future together. Just like me and your father, your sister will one day need to find her lifelong partner and follow him. Biting his little finger. But big brother and I will love and care for her too. Why do Ling Yin have to leave and follow someone else? Mother, I don't want Ling Yin to leave us. Perhaps the thought of his twin sister leaving him had roused some unwanted emotions, but Jean Tian's eyes had started to swell red from anxiousness and made him get all teary. But right before Bai Yin could soothe her baby and explain some more, Bai Yin's attention was suddenly dragged away by the frantic-looking steam bun that barged into the room. Mother, mother! Bai Xiaqin cries out, his face anxious and hurried. The proud little glutton 6, what's wrong, Xiaqin? Bai Yin quickly asks after seeing how pale her boy was looking. I don't know, mother. The steam bun grips his own clothes around the chest area. Just now I felt a sense of panic within my heart. I'm afraid something might have happened to those I know. Maybe Dragoni? Or Little Rice? Or Tsing-yi? Little Rice and Tsing, you should have been back by now. Did something happen while they were outside? And Dragoni, although to Bai Xiaqin the girl wasn't his biological family, but the boy already felt like she's a member of his family from an emotional standpoint. Now, imagining Dragoni being in danger was something he couldn't even begin to fathom. Little Rice and Tsing, you should be all right. Don't worry about them. If they were, I would have felt it by now. But then this idea brought on another issue, which causes Bai Yin to furrow up the brow. If those two aren't in trouble, then what about Dragoni? As for Dragoni, I had some of the more elite soldiers under your father to tail her. If anything happens, then your father should know by now. Okay. The steam bun nodded, his hands still clenching tightly due to the unease. Mother, I don't want Dragoni to be in any accident. Don't worry, she'll be all right. Letting her brow loosen up to not worry her son, Bai Yin warmly brings him into a hug to reassure him. Then, turning to his younger son, Jean Tian, go find your sister and play while me and your older brother find your father. Fawning with light in his eyes, the little glutton gets all innocent and lovely in the face over what he's going to say next. Can I go to the kitchen and get some food? Even though he ate not long ago, it doesn't change the fact that he's hungry again. Go ahead, but don't eat too much or you'll get a tummy ache again. All right, let's go, Xiaqin. That said, The woman herself also felt a sense of unease now and hurried to bring her eldest son along for the outside. Jean Tion, on the other hand, wasn't as urgent to run off to play, though. Rubbing the back of his head, the little glutton only appeared a little bit off. Who is Dragoni? Is it someone else's sister that Big Brother wants to abduct? The more he thought, the more reasonable this little glutton found the theory to be so. I didn't think Big Brother is that kind of person. He is actually into abducting someone else's sister. What if the other family's Big Brother comes knocking at our door? They will break his leg. Due to all the misguided information by Shachin himself sewed into the little baby, which was akin to brainwashing, it would be quite some years before the little glutton stopped having that image of his own idol. No, I can't stand by and watch Big Brother have his leg be broken. I must advise him to turn a new leaf and not ruin someone else's family sister. Pumping his fist up into the air like a hero, the little glutton vows to himself. The word ruin was something by Shachin himself taught the baby. To think it would be turned and used on himself one day. If the older boy learned of this, then he would surely ignore the little glutton for a month at least. Bai Yin and her eldest had only finished coming out of their courtyard when a man whom they are looking for arrived on his own. Yin Yin, this is perfect. I was going to find you, but didn't know you were coming on your own. This sent the woman into an alarmed state. Tensing up in the hands. Tell me the truth. Did something happen to Dragoni? Don't worry, I can handle it. It's like this. Deetsong's voice sounded half-hesitant as well. Dragoni is missing. The people I sent to protect her is also missing, and I can't contact them anymore. I don't know what happened to her. Dragoni's missing, one. Bai Yan's lip quivered over the terrible news. You say Dragoni is missing? How did she go missing? Deetsong, tell me now which is the place. Deetsong's complexion also grew gloomy at the pressing inquiry. I also don't know the full details. The last location I know she was in was at the Holy Dragon Mountain. Holy Dragon Mountain. Tensing up along the hand, Bai Yin grew firm and hard along the face. Deetsong, me and Shachin are going to that place. The peculiarity of that statement didn't escape the husband's ear. She specifically mentioned herself and the boy only, never him. Immediately, Deetsong got all possessive and wrapped his arms around her dress. I'll go with you too. You should understand by now, Deetsong, that we need someone here to guard against the Celestial Palace's attack. What if they invade while you're not around? Who will protect our daughter then? Stay here, that's final. But Yin Yin, I can't be at ease if you leave on your own. Dragoni isn't the only one missing. The elite guards I sent to tail her is also missing. An incident that can put them in danger can't be simple. I don't want you to face such peril. Truthfully speaking, Dragoni wasn't exactly the most favorite person in Deetsong's roster of people he knew. He cares for Bai Yin, that's an absolute truth. However, a goddaughter to this demon king doesn't equate to putting his beloved wife in exceptional danger. I can't just leave Dragoni's fate alone. Bai Yin reaffirms her decision, getting all huffy and emotional as well. I don't know the reasoning myself, but I've liked the girl since the first time I laid eyes on her. Otherwise, I wouldn't have kept her around to begin with. I know you are worried about me, but I'm also worried about her. No matter the danger that's ahead of the journey, I must go. Deetsong got all silent, because he knew arguing here won't win in the fight today. Using his slender finger to caress through her hair, those seductive eyes looked like they could see through the beyond by gazing into the woman's own. Fine, but you must keep Shachin by your side at all times. You hear me, boy? You're a man of the family. You must protect your mother while I'm not around. When speaking the word man towards his own son, Deetsong made sure to put extra emphasis on it to pass on the trust he had. Don't worry, batty father. I'm a man now. I will definitely keep mother safe from any harm. Making a faint chuckle at the good reply, Deetsong now appeared proud. That's my son. That's how a man of the D family should be. Bai Yin naturally felt relieved at the go-ahead from her own man. She was honestly starting to worry this possessive demon king would really force his way and bring all the children along. That would be far more disastrous than just going by herself or with Shachin along. Dragoni's missing too. Also, flicking his hand open after moving closer to his wife's face. Take this, it's something I recently came across by chance. This jade necklace will help keep you safe from a fatal blow for one time. If you keep it on you, then I can be at ease. He didn't lie about this item falling into his laps a few days ago, but there's more than just one use for it. Of course, Deetsong wouldn't tell his wife what the other use was lest he want a good beating. First Elder knew this, though. He's been watching from the sideline the entire time and wanted to speak up to inform the Demon Queen. However, he ended up saying nothing after a brief thought. What's the point? This was a husband's way of protecting his own wife. He, as an outsider, shouldn't interfere. Baiyin didn't resist as her man placed the jade necklace around her neck. Then, as if to reward the Demon King for his good behavior and obedience, the woman actually tiptoed her feet and kissed him along the lips. This should have been a picturesque scene that would wow the world, but not everyone was happy right now here. Bai Xiaoqun was rather displeased as he puckered his little lips. Oh, what to do? I also want to give Mother a kiss along the cheek. But Batty Father won't let me go if I do that. I'll be back soon, Deetsong. Removing her lips from his, Baiyin turns away for her eldest. Come, Xiaoqun, we're going. Together, one child and one woman. The pair left the palace without delay. Unfortunately, there are many others who doesn't want them to leave. For one, the crazy old coot was one of them. Before they could even make it out of the palace grounds, the old grandpapa had come running over while flailing his hands in the air. Precious granddaughter, where you going? I'll come with you. Pausing in her steps, Baiyin muses over her options before replying. Grandpapa, can you do one thing for me? Rubbing the back of his head, the old coot makes a puzzled face. I'm going out with Xiaoqun, so I want you to keep an eye on my twins while we're not around. The strength of the Celestial Palace mustn't be underestimated. If there's only mooing around, then it's not a guarantee her children would be safe. Now that's where her grandpapa would be able to help. As for Deetsong, he has a lot of things to oversee. The person wouldn't be able to keep a tab on the children at every moment of the day. Okay, clapping his hands as he laughed aloud. Little Ling Yin and Jean Tian are both so cute and good, just like you back then. However, where are you taking Xiaoqun? Can't you take me as well? At the end of the day, the old coot would rather be with Baiyin than to stay here regardless of how fond he was of the kids. Shaking her head, the woman knew she had to do some persuasion here. I can't be at ease with my daughter being left alone. Also, aside from you and Deetsong, I can't leave my children in other people's care. In other words, she only trusts her husband and this grandpapa the most and wouldn't entrust the twins to anyone else. Which was true and not a lie. Laughing with joy now at the given responsibility. Precious granddaughter, you don't have to worry. I will make sure the babies are well protected. The old coot then went ahead to pat his chest in a reassuring manner. I won't let those bad people anywhere near them. Dragonis missing 3, but the old coot's smile disappeared again, his eyes wide with pleading. Can you come back quickly? Considering how cautious his tone was, Baiyin could already see the miserable picture the other person would make once she's gone. Closing her eyes in aching pain over what she's trying to do, she eventually came to terms and spoke up. Grandpapa, I'll be back very soon. Wait here for me, okay? The old coot nodded heavily. I will be good so you can't lie to me. Cross our pinkies? Okay, pinky swear. Once I find Dragoni, I'll return right away. Showing a dazzling smile, Baiyin went ahead to hook her pinky around the elders to seal the deal. Great grandpapa goodbye. Bai Xiaoqun waves his hand in the air as he and his mother departed for good, which only made the old coot even more pitiful in the background. For a while, only the lonely figure of an old man stood at the palace doors, not moving and not going anywhere until the sun set for the night. The Holy Dragon Mountain was located very far from the Demon City. Therefore, it took quite some time before Baiyin and the steam bun arrived at the base of this place. Even worse, there's someone blocking the road up ahead. Mother, Bai Xiaoqun murmurs, his hand getting uncomfortably tense as he grabbed onto his mother's sleeve. It's this woman who tried to hurt me and Dragoni before. She's the one responsible for sending us down into that underground world. Baiyin didn't need to be reminded of this because she already knew who the other side was. Though their encounter was brief back then, it's more than enough to firmly engrave the vile deceiver into her mind. You're really alive. A complex look comes off of Ruo Shi's face. There's resentment, hatred, and hostility. You should be reunited with the Demon King now. Why are you coming back again? Isn't it enough for you to have one man? Why are you coming back to steal the Celestial Lord from me?" The way this vile woman said it sounded like she's very disappointed and at the other side chose the most foolish and disgusting choice possible. Bai already had a negative view of this woman to begin with, but her words only made her even more irritated. Then that's when her gaze landed on the crescent moon amulet around the neck. Immediately, a series of fragmented memories came swarming back to her mind. It's a picture of two young girls to be precise. They were inside a dense jungle. One had an amulet in hand and was giving it as a gift to the other girl who was called Ruashi. This amulet, it looks familiar. You're called Yin Ruashi, correct? Showing a dominating smile, Bai Yin asked with force in her voice, "If my memories serve me right, that amulet should be mine. Am I right on that as well?" One could literally see the horror coming out of the imposter's face. It couldn't be helped. For Ruashi and all that she held right now in her life, it's all derived from this crescent moon amulet. Without it, she's nothing. She's not the supposed savior of the celestial realm. She's not the most important woman in this world. She's nothing. Dragoni's missing for, what are you talking about? Yin Ruashi forces a smile to hide her inner guilt. Oh, I forgot you don't remember because you reincarnated. How can you remember the past? I bet you mistook this amulet as yours because of the fragments in your head. I'll tell you this clearly so you can stop wondering about it. This amulet is mine to begin with. Then you cheated it off my hands for a while before I eventually got it back. Is that right? Bai Yan's smile deepens. But it's just a trinket. Why are you acting so nervous for? Can it be the amulet has some other uses you're trying to hide? Almost like a jerk reaction, Yin Ruashi clenches the amulet around her neck and made a vigilant look across to the other side. This amulet is something my parents left me. Of course it means a lot to me. But enough. We're not here to speak about my possessions. You've got Deetsong already. Why are you coming out of the demon realm to pester the Celestial Lord? Regarding the story of Keeper Ling being shoved away by Chu Igad has already been passed on to the woman's ear, so she's well aware of the situation and what happened. Would you rather lose the world than lose her? When did Bai Yin hold such an important position within his heart? How can he give up on the world for a mere single woman? I don't know this celestial lord you're talking about, and my one and only husband is Deetsong. In my heart, there can only be one person. As Bai Yin presses forward, her hand had already summoned out her Godslayer for battle. Sarcastic in her tone now, you are not going out of your way to pester him, but your existence is causing him to not forget you. Isn't it enough to have the demon realm in your palm already? Why do you keep coming to the celestial realm and show up in front of him? If it wasn't for this woman's temptation and seduction of the celestial lord, would he keep her in his heart for a millennium? Stopping there on the spot, Bai Yan's cold smirk devolved into an unamused one. I said it already, I don't know who you're talking about. Me and Deetsong's purpose is very clear, and that's to exact revenge on the Celestial Palace. Why should I stop for the sake of a single person I never met? That only raised the anger level in Yin Ruashi's heart. Quit pretending like you don't know the Celestial Lord is Chu Igad. All right, you shouldn't know he's him unless someone told you, isn't it? Fine, 1,000 years ago, it was he who personally tied you up and brought you to execution ground. It's he who caused you to lose your unborn baby. A visible stiffness gripped Bai Yan's body in that moment. There's unbridled anger surging forward, but more were that of pain and indescribably regret. What did you just say? It's Chu Igad who killed my son? It's he who hunted me down by sending his men? Several times she had dreamt of an unknown person, but due to the individual always having his back turned to herself, Bai Yin couldn't make out who it was. Adding in the fact that the one in the dream had black hair and a white robe, the connection never drew a spark. Dragoni's missing 5? Why does it have to be him? Mother! Bai Xiaqin felt the anger coming out his mother's face, so he subconsciously reached out to grasp onto her hand. Though the steam bun was still small in age, but he's nevertheless smart enough to know one of the reasons he's able to survive one of his encounters before was thanks to Chu Igad. Without that man, he and Bai Yin would be dead at the edge of the demon realm due to those shadow guard that day. Why should I believe you? A crunching sound comes off of Yan's fist as she glared daggers at the other woman. All you have is a one-sided story. You got no evidence. Besides, you wanted to hurt my son before. That makes your story even less credible. A sneer comes off of Yin Ruo, she's tongue in return. If you don't believe me, then you can go inquire the details on your own. Most only know he's the Celestial Lord, but those in power all know him by his name, so some of your upper members in the demon realm should know. Yin slowly closes her eyes, knowing she couldn't keep denying the other side story. It wasn't all that long ago where Chu God deceived her and nearly harmed her own son, but she still believed the man would give her a proper explanation. Yet, the person never came again. How could it be him? Why did he save Xiachen and then nearly harmed him? Which side is the real him? Did he really kill the 4 sacred beasts, the same one in my dreams? This doesn't make sense. Why is everything so hard to figure out? The more she thought, the more tied Yin was feeling inside. Part of her wants to believe in Chu God as a good person, but the other part of her said otherwise based on all the things that's transpired. So, for time the lady couldn't move, only standing there in silence for a long time. Yin Ruo, she wasn't going to stand patiently and wait, of course. Showing bitter poison along the eyes. Yin, if not for you, then I would have been his wife for a long time already. You clearly got deed song already. Why do you have to reappear again? What qualification do you have to hate the Celestial Palace? All you lost is a child, while I lost the happiness of a lifetime. That's right. In the mind of this vile being, a child was nothing more than a disposable object that doesn't hold a candle to her own happiness. Yin Ruoshi, what are you doing? Exactly then a cold, rumbling voice cuts down from above. Going stiff due to the familiarity, the vile woman rigidly turns around and discovered that breathtaking face. However, instead of the cold and indifferent attitude like always, the person had on an outraged expression that has never been seen before. Lo Lord, Yin Ruo, she stutters this out from the mouth, her face going pale under that menacing gaze. Well, let me explain. It's not like what you see. Chu God didn't pay any heed, though. His entire attention only focused on Yin, who sent him into a panic once their eyes met. Yinner, Yin laughed in that moment. Not the small chuckle or derisive kind, but the heartfelt and pained cry of someone openly hurt by one's action. Against this, the Celestial Lord immediately felt an ominous sensation creeping up from his feet. Chu God, I ask you, is it because of you that my previous life ended up so miserable? My child, did he also leave me forever because of you? White Tiger, Azure Dragon, Black Turtle, and Vermilion Bird, did they all die because of your hands? Dragonis missing 6. Pain and sadness always dampen down after some time. In this case, Yan's final emotion were that of indifference because she didn't want to be hurt anymore. At this point, she only wanted a clear answer. Yes. Under that indifferent gaze, Chu God painfully nodded and confirmed the truth. He didn't want to kill her, nor did she intend to harm her companions back then. However, the fact remains that her miserable fate and death was indeed caused by him. The man couldn't deny it. Yin gently closes her eyes because her heart was shaking immensely. She thought she was prepared for the final answer, but it's clear she wasn't entirely. Mother, the steam bun tugs at the lady's hand with worry in his eyes. Then turning to the man with anger burning, you leave. Don't you see my mother doesn't want to see you? Xiachen, a bittersweet smile comes off of the man's mouth. I really don't have any malice towards you. Please believe me. Getting frustrated along his little face now, Xiachen raises his voice into a yell. You hurt my mother's heart. You also killed Azure Dragon in them. How can you still say you don't hold malice against us? I know you are strong, and I'm not your opponent, but one day I will grow up, and when that time comes, I will make you pay for everything you owe us. These words may be coming out of that childish mouth, but the tone and force in his voice showed that he's well on his way to becoming a ruler of one realm. Chu God tasted a bitter sadness in his mouth at that moment. He could see the hatred coming out of the kid's eye, and the resentful tone shooting his way. It's then he knew whatever hope he had of winning back Yan's heart was forever lost. He won't ever have a chance again. Xiaoqin is right. One day we will pay back the blood debt. Bai Yin announces, her eyes hard and hostile now. Out of consideration that you saved my son that one time, I won't settle the matter with you today. However, the next time we meet is when we will put an end to everything. How could I have forgotten? How could I have done that? Celestial Palace. Chui God. Yin Ruo 11. I won't let any of you go. Wait, Yinner, let me explain. Chui God wanted to reach out with his hand due to panic. Unfortunately for him, his hand was promptly slapped away when near contact. Don't touch me. Compared to Deetsong, you are scum. You're not even comparable to a strand of his hair. A visible tremor could be seen across the man's shoulder, a readable sign he's been hurt by that insult. If, Bai Yin stopped for a second in her words, then snickering sarcastically, if you want me to forgive you, then it's possible. I want those from the Celestial Palace to die, including this Yin Ruo Shi. Can you kill them now? Initially, the man flashed a flicker of hope in his eyes after hearing there's a chance to turn things around, but the latter part completely ripped the light out of his face like he's dead inside. Yinner, not now, but in the future. In the future I will. The only light. Perhaps Bai Yin already knew this with the sort of answer to come of her request, so her reaction was rather mild. So, she's off limits too? Narrowing her eyes in, there's self-mockery and hatred towards the other person. Yin Ruo, she instantly flew into an antsy panic, hurrying to stare at the Celestial Lord for help. This impostor uses her gaze to plead for mercy. I promise you, I will definitely give you a proper answer in the future. Chui God says the same thing again. Yin Ruo, she can't die now, nor can the Celestial Palace topple just yet, but I will definitely give her a proper answer. Chuckling in her voice now. If you want to give me an answer, then kill Yin Ruo, she now. I want her to pay for harming my child. Other than that, she has nothing else to ask for. Lord, the impostor reflexively calls out, knowing full well how much of a position Bai Yin stands within Chui God's heart. She's really afraid the man would slay her on an impulse. From beginning to end, the man never once gave Yin Ruo she a glance. Yinner, give me some time. She, in the Celestial Palace, cannot die now. You have to believe me. Everything I do is for you. He raises his hand again, wanting to hold onto that dress to pass on his feelings. Unfortunately for him, a small body cuts him off by slamming into him and knocking his footing back. Get out of here. Don't you to touch my mother. Bai Xiaoqin yells, his eyes full of disgust. Anyone who hurts his mother and break her heart are all bad people. One could literally see the air deflating out of Chui God's soul in that moment. Against the little guy's face, he couldn't help but smile bitterly because he wasn't making excuses here. In his mind, Yin Ruo, she needs to live, and the Celestial Palace also needs to exist for now. Xiaoqin, Bai Yin pulls the boy back behind herself, her cold eyes wary and alert. You don't have to do this. I won't hurt him. The behavior across from himself hurts the man even more. If you won't hurt him, then why did you kill my child 1,000 years ago? He couldn't even get a glance at me before he left me forever. If you really want to help me, then why did you lie to me before? I can't even keep the last wisp of his existence with me. Because of you. Merely recalling the fact that her child died a lonely death was a piercing pain to Bai Yan's heart. So what if the little one is not human? At least he recognizes me as his mother. Mother. Bai Xiaoqin felt the pain coming out of his mother's heart and attempted to soothe it. Don't be sad. I will always be with you. We will never separate. Sure enough, the grief and pain in the woman's eyes gradually dissipated under her child's hopeful gaze. In front of the hostility from both mother and child, Chui God didn't know what else to say at this point. He had nothing that could defend his stance, nor find any excuses to do so. Everything was true. He single-handedly ruined the woman's previous life and murdered her child. He did it all. The only light 3. Truly, Yin Ruo, she did in fact believe the man choking at her throat right now saved her, because he liked her, not because of something like using her as a shield. You and Yinner can't be compared together. Tossing the lump of meat to the ground in a barbaric manner, Chui God continues in a cold, hard fashion. Keeper Ling and the others may be blind, but I am not. You will never be able to match her goodness. You will never be able to match her goodness. This sentence was akin to 1,000 arrows, each piercing right through to Yun Ruoxi's heart and burying her in a mountain of hurt. Why? Why do you keep liking her more than me when I've waited a millennium for you? What's so worthy to make you choose her over me? She asks with a sorrowful face. Another gush of wind blasts out of the man in response, this time powerful enough to blow the woman off the feet and into the bushes, thus causing her to become a tattered mess in the process. I said you can't be compared to her. What don't you understand? An annoyance filled the person's voice. This is my warning. I will only let you go this one time. If you appear before Yinner again, then don't blame me for being cruel. I don't care if you're useful or not. I will personally put an end to you. A visible shudder rocked Yun Ruoxi's body as she struggled to climb up from the ground. She couldn't believe this. As a result of her pouring emotions, a tidal wave of tears spewed out of those eyes like a waterfall. Why can't he simply kill me instead of saying those cruel words to me? I waited so long for him. Why do I deserve such a cruel fate? I thought even if you won't love, but you will one day marry me. Closing her eyes, she mutters this one sentence out. Didn't he almost marry me back then? If it wasn't for Bai Yin, perhaps we would be man and wife already. I only agreed because Keeper Ling promised me they wouldn't kill Yinner if I did so. I believed him, yet they went back on their promise and never intended to let her go. Yin Ruoxi, don't think I don't know you're one of the main reasons in pushing those old fools into treating her that way. A huge look of panic gripped the woman's face at being pointed out. No, I didn't. Lord, you must have misunderstood me. Is it Bai Yin? Did she tell you something false? How'd he find out? It must be Bai Yin. Yes, it must be her. She must have said something while I wasn't around. Yinner don't know anything, so you can stop blaming her for everything. Only Keeper Ling and them would be so oblivious. After a millennium, I've seen through it all. The funny thing was he too had been blinded by lies and deceit back then, hence his foolish decision to harm his love of a lifetime. Going numb in the legs, Yin Ruoxi collapses to the ground again, her eyes exposing a look of distraught. And unlike earlier, the imposter wouldn't believe the man was doing it out of mercy or love. It's definitely something darker. So he knows everything. If he knew then, why did he leave me my life? I never liked you. Never had and never will. When I first met you, I already disliked you. And the only reason I remained polite was due to Yinner's connection. The only light, for now cherish the time you have remaining. There's not much left in it. After throwing down this bone-chilling sentence, Chu E-God turned and flew away like a brisk wisp of wind. He's always been like this. Come and go as he pleases without leaving a trace of his existence. Half a ring later, Yin Ruoxi finally returned to her senses after being left alone. Unlike the terrified expression she had on earlier, though, from the conversation, her face was twisted and grotesque. Bai Yin, I want you to die. Even if I can't get the Lord, I will never give you a chance to live in this world in peace. Just you wait. If she wasn't here, if she didn't existence, Chu E-God would have definitely loved me instead. Yes, this is all her fault. I did nothing wrong. Winger, get your ass out here, come out this instant. She roars. It didn't take long, only a second for the figure in black to appear at the front. Though the person's face was constantly covered under his cloak, it didn't take much to see his expression was cool and calm. Winger, you said before that Bai Yin gave birth to a son, did you not? Go kill the child now. I want Bai Yin to suffer the experience of losing her child. Making a shudder, the man grew hesitant and unwilling. Didn't you say you only want me to deal with her daughter? Why are you asking me this now? You damn garbage. Do you not see how she's treating me? Because of her, the Lord has misunderstood me. So what if I kill her son? Winger didn't speak, only staying still and silent for the longest time before replying. Deedsong's strength is very strong, coupled with the many powerful demons under him. I can't kill the young prince while under their watch. What little prince? Who allowed you to call him the little prince? That a bastard child, a child born of foul blood. I don't care how you do it, you must kill the boy. I saved your life, so don't you forget that. You should be grateful to me. Isn't your Pterodactyl crow kind always willing to repay their debt? Winger hung head is under that scolding voice, but still managed to murmur a rebuke back. I am not a garbage. It's just that I can't use my full powers because of those enemies. They will find me if I do. What's more, I don't want to hurt a young, innocent child. Roshi, I know you have a grudge against the Demon Queen, but you should be going after her and her husband, not. Upon seeing the livid face of the woman that's shooting a vicious glare his way, Winger promptly stopped and grew hesitant again. The child is only 2 years old. He doesn't know anything and haven't done anything. Please, I can't do this. The child can only blame himself for being born into that sort of family. He can't blame us. Getting bloodshot red in the eyes, Yin Ruo, she loses all her cool. I am ordering you now, as your benefactor, kill him. Winger closed his eyes, feeling the throbbing pain thump away at his own consciousness. He's a proud member of the Pterodactyl crow family, a prestigious demon kind that's known to repay any debt they owe. But to do something this heinous and immoral, he's finding it difficult to accept. The only light, 5, Ruoshi, I won't do it. I can help you fight the Demon King and your enemies, but I won't help you harm an innocent child that has done nothing to deserve such a fate. This is final. From those cool eyes, a strong sense of unyielding strength comes forward. He had compromised too many times before, and for that he regrets it. Now was the time he needs to put his foot down and makes a stance. There's more than one way to repay a debt, and it wasn't this way. Pack! The wicked impostor instantly flew into a rage and slapped the man across the face. It's loud and clear, leaving 5 red fingerprints along the skin. Garbage, you useless garbage. I wish you were dead instead of being so useless. Giving a cruel glare, Yin Ruo, she turns and left without glancing back. She's very upset and didn't care if her words hurt. Winger didn't feel angry or outraged as he watched that departing figure. To him, this was something that happens often, so he's numb to the insults already. What's more, he didn't care. For the Pterodactyl Crow clan, repaying a favor or debt doesn't mean they are forced to endure insult or humiliations. This was something he himself chose. One for the sake of being lifted from that dark place when he was young, the other being he also had a wisp of hope for the other woman to return to her old self. After a long while of not moving, Winger was finally ready to leave as well when a powerful pressure came pushing down from above. Immediately, his face got white due to recognition. How did those people find me? Bang! A ray of thunder suddenly strikes down from the sky, hitting directly onto Winger's body. He wanted to dodge this attack, but failed due to how sudden it came. Next thing he knew was being flung to the ground from the impact, his mouth spewing blood as all color leaves his face. Although this thunder didn't have the same strength of a heaven's retribution, but it still left the poor man incredibly painful and injured. In his blurred state, he could vividly see the figure of the one person he wants to see most right now. Roshi. He held out his hand, seemingly wanting to grasp onto the hazy image. However, instead of lending a hand like any kind person would do, the impostor only showed a fearful picture in her existence. Then casting another glance upwards at the storm clouds rumbling above her head, this wretched woman didn't think twice and made a run for the other way. She had no qualm about fleeing and running for her life. To be fair, Yin Ruo, she never intended to come back in the first place after she left the first time around. The only reason she returned was due to the loud commotion. Now that she's sure danger was around, the woman had no reason to stick around and get involved. Winger's consciousness slowly faded away as the strength left him, thus allowing his hand to fall to the ground after reaching out. Gradually, in his half-unconscious state, memories of old came echoing back. Big Brother Winger, you have to believe me. I will come and take you out of this place. I'm not strong enough now, but I can help heal some of your injuries. Pain go away, shoo. But what if you don't come? If I grow strong enough, then I will definitely come save you. But if you escape before I do, then you can come find me instead. I live at the Celestial Palace. Okay, if you don't come, then I will go out and find you, slowly but surely, That warm, gentle voice which brought light into his life was fading away. He couldn't figure out why, but it's not the same anymore. Winger's Dilemma 1. Just before Winger's mind completely slipped away, his ears somehow manages to vaguely make out two voices near himself. He wants to open his eyes to see who they were, but the tiredness he had was stronger, and that stopped him from doing so. Sing, who is he? Based on his appearance, it looks like he's been hit by lightning or something. What do you do to be struck by something like that? A snowy white tiger marched in front of the unconscious man, his mighty eyes staring down at the stranger on the ground. He's a demon like us, but his scent and aura are not familiar to me. I can't tell which tribe or clan he's from. Speaking afterwards was a woman in green, her face heroic and beautiful at the same time. Then what should we do with him? The tiger asks again with a childish voice. First take him back to the city with us. If he's a demon, then we shouldn't leave him alone to die like this. As to his identity, we can confirm with the others when he's better. What's more, a seriously injured demon wouldn't pose a threat to them and their friends anyway. Rather than being heartless and cold, the dragoness would rather be kind to help her own soul. Okay, I'll carry him on my back then. Using his mouth, the white tiger flung the poor guy into the air and onto his back like a baggage. A brutish method, but an effective one nonetheless. Sing didn't have any objections to this maneuver and followed her companion from behind. Together, they bolted for the demon city without looking back. Unbeknownst to the pair, though, they were being watched from the rear the entire time by the very girl who fled earlier. Azure Dragon and White Tiger, they're here too? I can't let the demon realm's power continue to grow. Otherwise, the problem will be out of control. Yin Ruo, she hasn't forgotten the appalling power the 4 demon generals possessed back in their prime. If they are to return, then it would spell trouble not only for the Celestial Palace, but herself as well, because she had a major hand in their demise. If everything comes out, the first person those 4 would murder would be her. But concern was one thing. This wretched woman wasn't so ignorant to not realize what's the most urgent matter at hand. She must hurry back and make sure the keepers never meet Bai Yin again, otherwise the other person might bring up the topic of the moon amulet in her possession. If it becomes known she's not the real owner, and Bai Yin was, she would be nothing. She wouldn't be able to live the life of luxury she has now, nor would she have a loyal dog like Winger, who came on his own. Heck, she wouldn't even be able to protect herself without others to shelter her. Inside a bedchamber, Winger had Jay's struggles to open his eyes as a mountainous level of fatigue gripped his body. Despite this discomfort, the injured guy still felt abnormally at ease here. Winger's Dilemma 2. Are you awake? A calm and old voice echoes in Winger's ear, causing his body to go stiff. If you're awake, then that's good. I've already examined your body, and you're indeed a member of the Pterodactyl Crow family. And your father, Skywing, are old friends. To think the old lad would manage to leave behind a seedling. Shooting his eyes open now at the mention of his family, the injured guy wanted to get up to get more information, but fell back down as he did so. You know my father? Dragon Flame calmly nodded. You shouldn't be born yet when I was locked up, so it's normal for you to not know me. According to our connection, you should call me uncle. Does your father mention me often? Winger bitterly shook his head over the reminder of painful memories. I don't remember a lot of things because I've been locked up in a dark place for many years. It wasn't until a couple 100 years ago did I manage to escape and come into the world. Where is this place? Did you save me? No, it wasn't me who saved you. It was Tsing, Yi, and Little Rice who happened to find you in a forest. They brought you back after noticing your injuries. You're now inside the palace of the Demon City. Demon City's palace? Going rigid over this news, Winger's face hung low as a bittersweet flavor filled his tongue. I'm inside the city's palace? Why did it have to be the Demon Queens, people who saved me? Now, what am I supposed to do? My clan rule requires me to repay in debt I owe to another, but they're the ones Ruo she wants to kill. How am I supposed to fit both sides? What's wrong? The old goat asks with a frown, not understanding why the perplexed and troubled expression of the young man. Shaking his head after realizing he's revealed too much. I'm all right. Do you have an alchemist here? How can my body feel like it's not hurting anymore? Oh, our queen is an alchemist, and it's the little princess who gave you a Dan pill. Boom. Instantly, Winger's mind went blank as it exploded. There are countless voices echoing in his mind right now, each vying to persuade him on a certain course of action. The princess? You said there's a princess in the demon realm? But the queen is supposed to have given birth to 2 boys? Isn't that what the rumors say? Now this time it was the old goat to make a strange look. You're right on the queen having 2 sons, but the second birth came as a twin, 1 girl and 1 boy. A buzzing sound rocked the poor man's brain after getting the confirmation. Closing his eyes, even his lips were quivering from shock. Why is this happening? Why is there a princess? Do I really have to commit to such a vicious act in the end? But I can't do it. I can't murder an innocent child. Originally, Dragonflame didn't have any doubts regarding Winger's motive or origin, but after this display of ups and downs in behavior, the old goat couldn't help but add an extra sense of alarm towards this new guy. It looks like I need to have half Ching Sing, Snake Woman, tail this guy in secret. Although me and his father are good friends, but I don't know too much about him as a person. I can't risk this because of my own ties. Though he thought that, the old goat still wanted to believe he's only overthinking this matter. Otherwise, he might just have to end his old friend's only son. That would be a regret he himself would be pained in. Winger's Dilemma 3. Due to how troubled Winger was inside, the man did not notice the odd look coming his way. Then, just as he's about to speak again, a soft, crisp voice cuts in from the doorway. Grandpa Dragonflame, is the uncle awake? This voice may be childish in nature, but it's more than enough to make the bettered patient tremble. Looking over, he could see it was a baby girl that's probing her head through the entrance and looking at him in the eye. Princess, walk slowly, don't fall. Mooing speaks out after seeing the baby toddling forward in a quick manner. She's afraid the girl might trip over due to this and get hurt. However, it's also due to her careless remark that confirmed Di Ling Yan's identity to the assassin. So she's the princess of the demon realm? How could this be? Such a cute and adorable baby. It would require a truly beautiful woman to produce such a child. For a while, Winger's curiosity to learn of Bai Yin as a person grew, making him show a side that he never thought to be within himself. Uncle, Sing, you said you were hurt, so I gave you my mother's medicinal pills. Does it still hurt? With big, innocent eyes, Di Ling Yin asks after coming over to the bedside. Does it still hurt? Once again, memories of old came swimming back to him, causing Winger's heart to ache tremendously with turmoil. How long has it been since I received such warmth? That's right, that time in the darkness with her. Ever since she left that time, I never felt it again. Grandpa Dragonflame, is something still wrong with this uncle? Di Ling Yin tilts her little head. Mother gave me a lot of Dan pills. Here, uncle, you can have them because I can't finish it all. The old goat smiled with content at the baby's good sense. Of course you can, but if you give him everything, then what will you eat, princess? Biting her thumb in a troubled fashion. That's right, they taste really good and I can eat a lot every day, but Grandpa Dragonflame, I'm sure Mother will want me to do this. Me not having any will only mean I can't eat some snacks for a while Uncle here is injured and needs them more. For nearly 2 years, this baby girl has been protected very well, so her heart remains pure and beautiful, thus winning most of the demons here in this city. This includes the old goat, who showed a pleased smile. I really hope I'm overthinking this, otherwise. I can't imagine how hurt the princess will be if my speculations are true. Winger, do you remember the rules of your family clan? Dragonflame's expression suddenly got stern and hard. The Pteroraptor clan is known to repay any debt they owe. Your life was saved because of the princess's graciousness by giving you all these Dan pills to consume. Without her, you would be at the death's gate by now thanks to the injury you sustained. The patient visibly stiffened over the news. Closing his eyes in pain, rest assured, Uncle Dragonflame, I know what I have to do. Winger's Dilemma, for such a beautiful girl. How can I hurt her? I really can't do this. I'm sorry, Ruash. Mooing, you take care of the princess while I go finish some business outside. If anything happens, call me immediately. Dragonflame leaves after giving this instruction. Though the old goat still felt uncomfortable trusting Winger completely at this stage, but he believes the guy wouldn't try anything while in the palace. It's far too secure and hard to escape if he does. Once they were alone, Winger's gaze promptly turned to the baby girl, his eyes warm. "Princess, your mother the queen. What kind of person is she?" He's been told for a very long time that the woman Ruah she hated was a vile being for ages. Now's his chance to find out the details for himself. Showing a proud face upon having her mother mentioned, Di Ling Yin happily obliged the request by propping her chin very high. "My mother is the best person in the world. She's beautiful and kind, and I want to be exactly like her when I grow up. Maybe not exactly since she's so excellent, but I will be the second closest to mother." Speaking of the last bit in her sentence, the baby girl has gotten that brow furrowed up due to her own words. "Princess," Muing smiles warmly and interrupts, "It is getting late. If we don't hurry to dinner, then all those delicious foods will end up in the prince's tummy." "Ah!" Ling Yin immediately jumped, her face urgent. "I need to hurry, otherwise Jean Tian will devour everything again and I won't get any." Without delay, she led the way on her own for the exit. This was exactly what the maid wanted to happen. She may not have any hostility towards this stranger, but she's not foolish enough to think he's a person that she shouldn't be wary of. In any case, the maid doesn't want the princess to stick around for too long, lest he does something unexpected. The negative opinion towards Winger right now was honestly unwarranted. His entire focus has been shifted to the past, to be exact, the time where Yun Ruo, she explained her reasoning for changing so much thanks to the Demon Queen. "You were right. When I saved you, I did it out of good intentions. Who doesn't want to be kind and good to others? But what did I get in return? I was so kind to her, yet she stole my fiancé. If you hadn't been so late in coming, would I have experienced all those hardships? I wouldn't, that's what. You don't know what she did to me. She ordered all beasts to hunt me down, and my strength stagnated as a result of the injury I sustained. Bai Yin could clearly get me to become that old coot's disciples as well back then. All she had to do was speak up. But guess what? She didn't and left me in the dark. Furthermore, it was she who abandoned the Celestial Lord and hooked up with Demon King Di Tsang on her own. Even when she didn't want it, she won't let me have my own happiness. That woman's heart has always been poisonous. At least I was good-hearted and saved you. If it was her who encountered you back then, you would be dead now. I really pity Di Tsang. A woman like her can't possibly educate a child to be good. Eventually she and her breed will be a scourge to both realms. By then, everyone will be plagued by their evil. I'd rather die one. Yet what he's hearing was a huge difference compared to what Ruah she claimed to be. For a while, the poor injured guy doesn't know what to believe anymore as he closes his eyes over this dilemma. Holy Dragon Mountain. It's reported that thousands of years ago, this holy landscape of the past housed some of the most sacred of relics to the dragon race. But due to various reasons and the war between demons and celestials 1,000 years ago, none of its original residences remain to this date. Now the only ones to ever come here were treasure hunters and those who wished to strike it rich. However, of course, many dangers lurk here from ages past. Traps, poisonous insects, and creatures of unknown origin. These were merely some of the known hurdles lurking from within. As a result, not many ever dares venture into the mountainscape, for not many ever returned alive. Yet today was not the case. There are many crowding around, some extremely powerful individuals capable of controlling a region under their fists. Senior Yu, is that dragon girl really in this place? Yes, the senior faintly nods his head in confirmation. That dragon girl stole the treasure off my hands and hid herself inside. Even if this place is dangerous and big, I will certainly find her. Don't forget what you promised us, then Senior Yu. If we help you locate that dragon girl, you must give each of us a level 13 Dan pill. The one speaking was a middle-aged man who licked his lip greedily after speaking. Within this celestial realm, there are not many people who could produce level 13 alchemic products like this old man. Since Senior Yu was a disciple of a certain elder within the Celestial Palace, he would certainly have said products like he claims, sneering in contempt at the other side's greed. Well, have I ever gone back on my promise? That dragon girl stole something neat to treat my granddaughter. Nothing but an abhorrent lizard that knows no shame. I will pay any price to find that monster. After Senior Yu threw his vow down, the rest immediately began to act as arranged due to the reassurance. There are a lot of traps ahead of their path, so it's a very slow process to dismantle the dangers. Meanwhile, at the same time, a little girl was currently curled up inside a cave not too far away, her body cold and shivering due to the frost coming off the body. It's cold, it's cold. Dragoni's eyelash trembled profusely due to the bone-chilling frost attacking her internals. She wanted to sleep direly right now, but at the thought of Bai Yin and Bai Xiaqin's face again, she stubbornly bit her lip and forced her consciousness awake. I must not sleep here, otherwise I will never be able to see Mother and Gidge, big brother, again. Mother, Gidge, I miss you so much. Ooh, I really miss you. Bringing up the picture of Bai Yan's dazzling smile and kind hugs, Dragoni could no longer hold back her loneliness and let the tears come forward. She knows that if Bai Yin was here, then there would be a way to dispel this cold. But now, she could only rely on their own perseverance to survive. Exactly then, a series of footsteps bursts over from the cave mouth, causing the poor girl's face to stiffen up. They are strangers to Dragoni. She doesn't know them. However, once she got a better look at a certain old senior among their ranks, her eyes dimmed with lost hope. These people, they have finally come. Little girl, we finally found you. You stole Senior Yu's stuff, so hurry and hand it over. We can spare you your life if you do so. Due to Dragoni's ever-growing beauty as she matures, the young man who spoke here had on a perverted grin that showed exactly what he's thinking and intends to do afterwards. I'd rather die, Dragoni snorted. Based on what? That's my stuff, and I found it first, so why should I have it over? When speaking, her teeth was clearly clattering due to the frost, so it's obvious her condition wasn't well. Even so, there were no tears coming out of those eyes anymore, only the stubborn look of someone not willing to submit. Senior, you said it's his then. It's his little girl. You better be smart and hand it over. Afterwards, you will come back with me to ask for his mercy. Perhaps then he will spare your life if you are good. From within Dragoni's big eyes flickered a glimmer of danger, because she would rather die than be subjected to humiliation. Heck, if her body wasn't reacting to the frost hindering her powers, she would have gone all in before to fight that Senior Yu instead of running it first. But things don't always go as planned or the way they want. Knowing this was her best chance, while they're preoccupied with speaking, Dragoni attacks the youngest man nearby to take the initiative. One punch to the chest and a kick to the groin. Next thing everyone knew were the howling cry of a man having his manhood destroyed. This was the opening she wanted. Using the brief second of delay, she lunges for the mouth of the cave to run again. Unfortunately, her plan was foolhardy in this case. Outside had been surrounded by people already, and they're ready with their weapons drawn. Girl, I like to see where you are running this time. Speaking was Senior Yu, who had drawn his blade at this point. Clenching her fist, even if I don't run, you still won't get my stuff. Going sharp and dangerous in the face, the old-timer grew enraged after recognizing the frost coming out his target. You ate the ice fruit. What of it? Dragoni sneered with contempt at the shameless old fart. The ice fruit is something I found first. If you had spoken to me kindly, then I might have offered you it. But you didn't. You mocked me and my mother, so why should I give you it? Besides, it's not like she wanted to eat it right away. Rather, the darn thing flew into her mouth without a second to react, so this outcome wasn't by choice either. Outrageous! Senior Yu snaps back. I am a disciple of the head alchemist inside the Celestial Palace, and this world belongs to the Celestial Palace. So what if you found it first? By right, I have a claim over all that is here. You eating it without permission is an ill-mannered and shameless act in of itself. Dragoni frustratingly clenches up her fist even more and causes a crunching sound to come off. Damn it. If this ice fruit isn't stopping me from using my full powers, then I wouldn't be forced to be so passive. Now all those demons Mother sent to protect me is dead. Who are you calling shameless and ill-mannered, you old fart? Going red in the eye, she glares directly at the old man like she wants to hear it a second time. Smirking with a mocking voice, Senior Yu happily obliges the request since he's on top right now. Didn't your parents teach you something like selfless dedication? The ice fruit is a medicine I need in order to save my granddaughter. No matter, all I need to do now is rip out your beast core, and that will do just fine in saving my granddaughter. I rather die, 3. Although this method is a little troublesome, but in order to save my granddaughter, everything is worth it. Dragoni finally exploded at this moment under the reinforcement of the stormy sky. Her little body kept emitting a hair-raising chill like it would encase the entire world in a layer of ice. Those closest to the dragon girl sensed the appalling force and hurried back, but it was too late for these unfortunate souls. Before they knew it, the ice had reached up from their ankle and all the way to their chest, thus sealing their fate to the afterlife. Senior, you didn't fare so well either. Though he managed to escape in time and live, but the chill still left his body stiff as a rock. Fortunately, he's a powerful alchemist, activating that internal energy from within and eating a pill mint to remove the cold. He was able to ease some of the discomfort and avoid being stuck there. Is this the power of the ice fruit? Such a shame that something so nice fell into this girl's hand. If used on my good granddaughter, it can not only cure her physique, it will also increase her strength several times over. Showing a somewhat regretful face, the old shameless bastard knew that even if he removed Dragoni's core and used it, the effects wouldn't be as good as the original. This dragon girl, she really spoiled a good thing. PFFFF. Suddenly, a squirt of blood comes flying out of Dragoni's mouth as herself staggered a few steps back and nearly falling to the ground. However, the persistent will of the lass stood strong, and she remained standing in the end. I'm Mother's daughter, so I can't shame her. Even if I die, I will die standing. Lassie, you haven't completely absorbed the ice fruit yet, so you're only stalling the inevitable. Senior Yu then showed a satirical smirk, but the end is now, and you're in my grasp. After getting that signal, the surviving humans all began to move forward. This time maybe I really won't make it. At least I didn't bring shame to Mother in the end. Dragoni thought, her eyes closing in acceptance. Senior Yu, this dragon girl's strength is not bad. After you take her beast core, can you leave the rest for us? This way we can at least get a piece of the pie. Those who remains asked, their eyes heated and greedy. Nodding, of course, I'm a gracious person. Aside from the core, the rest of her corpse is free to take for all of you. This is on top of the Dan pill I promised. Haha, generous as ever, Senior Yu. If it was anyone else, then they might not be so kind and give us a dragon's carcass. That right, Senior Yu. We will definitely remember your generosity. Please don't forget to call us again in the future if you ever need our help. Dragons are treasures. Even if it's just a drop of blood, it's still enough to help the average person to increase their physique. Besides, Senior, you didn't do much at all during this venture. It's these people who did most of the laboring. Using this to help gain a favor from so many would undoubtedly benefit him in the long run. I'd rather die, for, step aside everyone, this dragon girl may be hurt right now, but her strength is still formidable. I will kill her myself and retrieve the beast core. Without exception, the rest gladly took a step back to allow the old-timer to do the deed. They've done enough as it was, and wouldn't hurt to have someone else do some laboring in this case. However, Dragoni wasn't the type to go down without a fight. Suddenly showing a stubborn smile along her lovely face, the girl's behavior left the other side, wondering on why she's able to laugh in this situation. Are you from the Celestial Palace? She asks. Senior Yu chuckled. Yes, my Sherfu is the lead alchemist in the Celestial Palace. Is that so? Smiling even deeper at the confirmation, Dragoni did not show any sort of anger from earlier. If you are then, that makes you Mother's enemy. So, I won't let you have your way. Feeling an ominous sensation creeping up his back, Senior Yu instinctively pointed his finger out. Sure enough, the girl's complexion quickly took on a paler tone as traces of blood flowed out of her lips. This deathly appearance could only mean one thing, and it's damning. You self-destructed your own core, the old shameless bastard exclaims, his eyes burning with rage and disbelief. No, How can you do this? Stop, right this instant. The ice fruit takes a millennium to mature. After all these years, this is the only one I found. What is my granddaughter supposed to do if she destroys her own core? Damn this dragon girl. She's dead anyways. Why can't she just help save someone else instead of destroying my last hope? Pity for the old-timer. He's a step too late at this point in doing anything. Once Dragoni fell backwards and spewed up a mouthful of blood, the act was done. He's stunned with his hand reaching out, those eyes dull and lifeless until they evolved into a look of pure rage. You actually did it. Why can't you just save someone if you're going to die anyways? You selfish and damnable being. Even if you die, you will go to hell for this, never to be reborn again. Painfully cusping his own head, the old bastard behaved like the world's collapsing before his very eyes. How can this world have such a selfish person? First it was stealing my ice fruit, then it's destroying their own core, so I can't take it. Why are all demons such ruthless and damnable creatures? They all deserve to die. Dragoni naturally noticed the bastard's expression and smiled in response. It's not mocking nor ridiculing, but a very innocent and resolved one that left her eyes a blurry mess due to the tears coming out. But that was until the corner of her view noticed a panic-stricken face coming from afar. Mother, I'm sorry. I couldn't get stronger. I couldn't protect you. If there is an afterlife, I want to be your biological daughter. That way I can grow up by your side from childhood. But now, I can't accompany you anymore. Gradually closing her eyes as the heaviness took her, Dragoni's breathing began to weaken and the life fading from the skin. Her appearance has grown incredibly transparent under the sun's light, making the girl look like she's about to disappear at any time. I'd rather die. 5. Dragoni. A heart-wrenching cry echoes across the sky and causes all to look her way. The voice was filled with emotions, but more were that of pain and distress. Dragoni felt a tensing ache as well after hearing the familiar note. Why now? Why did it have to be at such a time? Even if I die, I didn't want her to see me in such a sorry state. The newly arrived figure didn't take any time to lung down to the ground and sweep the dying girl off the ground. There's sadness and anger in those eyes, which swiftly manifested into a powerful burst of energy flowing out from the body and onto the ground. Bai Xiaochen was also here, but instead of his usual mischievous self, he merely stood behind his mother with eyes staring intently at the withered girl's face. There's no life, just like a tree that's about to fall and die. Dragoni shouldn't be like this. She's always active and happy. How did things turn out like this? Did you kill my daughter? Bai Yan's cold, hard gaze swept across the line of scums until it landed on the single elder responsible for this all. Immediately, the clouds boomed and a series of thundering rocked the sky. In light of the strong entrance, Senior, you didn't back down in the least. He's the disciple of the head alchemist within the Celestial Palace, a person with incredible backing and a representative of his Shifu. Regardless of the foe, he must keep face. What does it have to do with me when it's your daughter who's seeking death? The old-timer grits his teeth with burning anger in the voice. But seeing how you're indiscriminately blaming others without proper evidence, then it's no wonder she's so selfish. That brat would rather destroy her own beast core than to save my only granddaughter. Such a selfish person doesn't deserve to live in this world. As if provoked by that statement, Bai Yin suddenly started to laugh wildly, causing a ringing effect across this mountain. You trying to take my daughter's core? That's equivalent to taking her life. I do not understand what it means to be selfless for others, but I do know that if someone shows me respect, then I will do the same. As for those who doesn't, I, Bai Yin, will always return that favor 100-fold. Growing colder in her voice as the anger grew in kind. Since you forced my daughter to die, then I will let you all pay back this blood debt with your own blood. Don't think about running away. None of you will live. Swish! In that very instant, a gush of flame rose from the ground and began to devour everything within her vicinity, leaving only a small circle free of destruction. Ah! Of the ones that managed to survive Dragoni's initial burst of ice blast, many were very vigilant to begin with due to what occurred to some of them. But this time it's beyond their means to dodge or avoid. Next thing that happened were a series of ear-piercing cries of pain and pleas for mercy. "Save me, Senior you. Please save me, I don't want to die." Of the closest to the elder, the poor man that's been devoured in flame reached out with a hand for aid. Unfortunately, before those fingers could even make contact or do anything else, the flesh had already incinerated into nothingness, leaving only a pile of ash in its wake. Do you think you're all that by murdering these innocent people? Your daughter isn't even killed by them. What right do you have in taking their life? Bai Yin ignored the questioning, only raising her hand to materialize a sword into existence. Bloodstained the Dragon Mountain, one boom, slashing down with enough power to create a sonic boom. Bai Yin's attack left the elder pale white as he rapidly dodged backwards in order to save himself. However, due to the suddenness of it all, Senior Yu is now disheveled and messy, looking after regaining his footing. "Who the hell are you?" the elder asks with narrowed eyes. Bai Yin still didn't answer the question. She only wants to kill them all because they're the reason her daughter was dying. Then, without any signal, she charges into the trapped crowd at lightning speed. Wherever her blade swung was when a human fell. Ruthless and without mercy, she's truly a death god right now, as her godslayer reaped the life out of these people. "Those who caused my daughter's death all deserve to die. I don't care if these people are accomplices or not. The very fact they're here is enough. They will pay for what they did." Now it's finally dawned on the old bastard that he's made a terrible mistake. Up until they point Senior, you still believe Bai Yin to be not a huge threat and that he could overcome her with everyone present. But his underestimating would be his own undoing as he kept retreating and retreating against that endless assault. "What should we do now, Senior you?" a young-looking man asks with pale complexion after losing an arm. This individual also noticed the huge gap in power and sought help. "How am I supposed to know? This woman is simply crazy in the head. It's not like we killed her daughter or anything." That's right. In the old bastard's head, he's not responsible for Dragoni's current state. Rather, it's the girl herself who's self-destructed, so the blame doesn't lie with them. Bai Yin has no qualification or right to attack them at all. But Senior Yu, a lot of the men we brought along are now dead because of her. Gritting his teeth, the young, anxious man forces out the one thought he had. "Why don't you go apologize? Although that dragon girl wasn't personally slain by your hands, it's still partly your fault that she committed suicide. Just admit to the crime, Senior Yu. Then all of us can escape after we quell that woman's anger." This was an act of desperation to even suggest such a thing for the individual. He wants to flee like everyone else here, but Bai Yin had already sealed their escape route by placing a sea of flame in a circling formation, making it impossible to run without suffering incredible damage or even their life. Getting sharp in his old eyes. "Have me apologize? Are you listening to yourself? Which fault did I do? How can you be so cowardly?" The young man's expression promptly got ugly after hearing that rebuke, and with good reason. They only came to search for someone at the offer of a reward, not to put their lives on the line and die. The other side was clearly provoked by Senior Yu himself, so the men gathered didn't want to pay the price for the mistake of someone else. "Now that's where you're wrong, Senior Yu. Yes, we accepted your deal of helping you, but the deal only involved us searching out the Dragon Girl. Why should we risk our lives when we never offered it? How about this? You go and prove to that woman that the rest of us are innocent." The old-timer sneered. "Humph, you think it's going to be that easy? You've all accepted my deal, so I expect you to carry out your work without hassle. Don't think there's no risk after taking advantage of my offer. If I can't escape from this today, then none of you will." Bloodstained the Dragon Mountain, too. Even though there were countless mourning cries along this mountain right now, the old bastard's remarks still caught their ears and struck a nail into their already anxious hearts. They've always thought of Senior Yu as someone kind and righteous, a person deserving of respect. But here, what respect? He's downright selfish to demand them to die for him. Unfortunately for these poor souls, Bai Yin wasn't going to stand idly by while they quibble and slew another dozen or so of them before they could react. But one person was still one person. In light of this, many of them still remained. The only one who really wants the Dragon Girl to die is you, Senior Yu. As long as you confess to the crime and put in a few words for us, then she will certainly spare the rest of us. Why won't you save us when you're going to die anyways? The last bit of that sentence was exactly the same as the one senior you used against Dragoni earlier, and now it's their turn to use against the old-timer. What irony! After suffering another attack along the chest and coughing up a mouthful of blood at the hands of Bayan's swing, Senior you gets cruel in his voice. Oomph. You all took advantage of me when the benefits are there, and now you're demanding I sacrifice myself when things turn bad? I admit this woman is stronger than me and that I can't resist her, but I won't go down alone. If I die, then I'll drag you all down with me. Ha! Yes. Why should he die for the sake of others? That just doesn't make sense for Senior you, who still felt he's being wronged here. Of course, the attitude he's showing enraged the young man that had already lost an arm due to his inaction. Then what is all that from earlier? You reprimanded the dragon girl when she refused to give you her beast core, and now you're doing the same. Why do we have to die for you when you refuse to be selfless and sacrifice yourself for your own mistake? We've truly been blinded by you. I thought you were a true man, a genuine person of character, but you're no better than a shameless bastard that hides behind lies and deceit. If I had known you were this kind of person, then forget about a level 13 Dan pill. I wouldn't come even if you gave me a bottle. Unfortunately for the young man who's lost an arm, there's no such thing as turning back time in this world after making a terrible mistake. Under the dreaded grayness of the dark sky, hanging above this holy dragon mountain, blood stains the ground and creates a scene of carnage in its wake. Even so, this could never elevate the pain suffered by the mother who's lost a daughter today. Oomph! Senior Yu's expression turns mad crazy, revealing a wild laugh as he yelled out his last will. I am the head alchemist's disciple. Killing me won't save you, woman. After the Celestial Palace gets wind of what happened here today, you and your family will all die. Ha ha. Blood stained the Dragon Mountain. 3. Senior Yu closes those eyes slightly and held a snickering sneer along his face. He's aware the end for him has come, and the only baggage he is left to worry about would be his one and only granddaughter. Bai Yin continued to act like she's deaf to the threat. Swinging her blade, she slashes down to give a lethal blow to the old-timer across the chest, thus sealing his fate. From start to end, she's never let Dragoni down from her arms like a sleeping princess. One being she couldn't bear to let the girl go. The second was that satisfied smile there. It's killing Bai Yin knowing her daughter was smiling because she came but was too late to save her. Mother, Dragoni won't die, right? She won't die. Bai Xiaoqin crouches down on the ground, his eyes tearing up as he muttered this out. Mother, you must have a way to save her. As much as the woman wanted to say yes, she couldn't. She just couldn't, hanging her head down in a displaced and guilty fashion. If I had come a little earlier, then I might have. This is my fault for not coming faster. It's not like Bai Yin wasn't trying to come up with a method, but the core of a demon was equivalent to their life. By self-destructing, it was the same as committing suicide, and that's exactly what Dragoni did there to herself. Knowing that fact, the hurting mother did something she's never done before, and as it so happens, that action was caught by the steam bun who looked up after noticing the behavior. Mother is crying? Those bastards not only killed Dragoni, they also made Mother cry. Promptly, a surge of monstrous killing intent pours out from the young boy's body, his face hard and serious like never before seen. Huh. Senior Yu saw the results of his deed and coughed up a weak laugh, but sarcastic laugh. Even if you kill me, your daughter won't be coming back to life. Such a selfish person. She deserves such an ending. Boom. Unable to hold back her rage, Bai Yin suddenly turns to the dying elder and swung her Godslayer again. This time, instead of across the chest, it's to dismember his arm entirely from the main body. A fountain of blood spewed out as a result. What? You want to kill me because you're angry? Then go ahead, kill me. No matter what, my Shifu will definitely come avenge me. Ha. Truth was this mocking attitude was a deliberate attempt by the dying man to get his end faster. He's afraid the woman across from himself would try something else like torture. By then dying would be an act of mercy. Unfortunately, Senior Yu thought too lowly of Bai Yin still. From start to finish, this demon queen has never intended to let the old timer off easy. She may have sealed the man's physical body's fate, but that doesn't mean she would let his soul off the hook. What did my daughter do to deserve this fate? She's always been well-behaved and sensible, never going out of her way to cause trouble. Smiling with a bone-numbing chill, Bai Yan's face would bring shudder to anyone who meets it. She may be a demon, but a life is a life. Why do you have to take someone else's life? Swish. Without hesitation, Bai Yan throws a stabbing motion out with her blade, piercing right through Senior Yu's chest and out his back. You forced my daughter to her death for that. I will make sure you suffer a fate worse than death. Her voice resonated with power at this moment, like a vow to heaven's rule. The method to save her, 1. Looks like this woman is just all talk with that foul mouth of hers. In the end, she still stabbed me with her sword. Now I can move on and not suffer so much. However, Senior Yu soon realizes his momentary relief was short-lived after jinxing it. Next thing he knew was the woman reaching up to his forehead with a hand and made a gripping motion. Before he could tell what's happening, a difficult and indescribable pain shocked his soul like it's being ripped from his body. When he finally returned to his senses after a long while of being in a dazed state, what welcomed his eyes were the body of himself. To be exact, the dead version of himself with rolled eyes sprawled along the floor. As for the current him, he's merely floating there in the air like a transparent ghost. What did you do to me? Pop. Unable to say more, a flame suddenly took to life underneath himself and engulfing his ghost soul in the process. Senior Yu thought he experienced pain before already, but this torturous sensation was beyond anything he could ever imagine. There's no way to describe it, simply soul-reaching and causing his mind to go insane. I said it. You hurt my daughter, so I'll make your fate worse than death. Holding the cold body of the girl in her arms, even tighter than before, Bai Yan's pained face told everyone she didn't feel any better after doing the deed. Not in the slightest. Why? Why did it have to be like this? Avenging Dragoni won't bring her back. Why did I have to be late? Crouching to the ground at the thought of her own failure, the crying mother wanted to use her own body's warmth to change reality. But try as she might, it's futile, causing the scene to appear even more lonely and sad. Exactly then, a grieving voice abruptly cuts through this silence, followed shortly by the clear sound of another belonging to a young man's. Moly, Piggy, why are you running so fast? Where are you going? Wait for. Yet the person couldn't finish his sentence because he could see the familiar figure crouching on the ground and silently weeping. What's going on? Why do I feel so hurt when seeing this picture? And so familiar as well. It's like I know someone similar and ache for them too. I can't remember. Flying over with great speed by flapping his little wings, Moly the piggy practically threw himself in front of the girls with a tearful face. He howled out in pain and retaliation at the heavens for taking Dragoni's life. Dragoni, reaching out with his pig trotters to poke at the dead girl's face in hopes of getting a reaction. The poor thing kept shaking his head in denial after getting none. Queen Mother, what happened to Dragoni? Is she dead? Covering her own eyes, Bai Yan didn't want others to see her crying face, nor did she ask why Imo Lishang the young man and his companion, the winged piggy, was here. She simply wasn't in the mood for that. The method to save her, too, Yin. Imo Lishang found his heart pumping with heartache after finding the woman's tearful face. Did I come too late? If me and Moly, Piggy, had come earlier, then perhaps we could have helped. That way Yin wouldn't be so sad. It's not your fault, Shan. Bai Yan shook her head before gradually coming back up. It's my fault for not protecting Dragoni properly. It's because of me. 1,000 years ago, many of her closest family and friends left her, and 1,000 years later the same tragedy ensues. The cause of all this? The Celestial Palace. Showing an angry face of vicious nature, the woman vows to herself, I will make them all pay, make them pay for all they've done to me. The winged piggy continued to sob though. Queen Mother, please save Dragoni. Woo, please save her. I'm sorry, but not even I can repair a destroyed core. I don't know how. For the first time in her life, Bai Yan felt useless and weak because she couldn't save her own daughter. No, Queen Mother, I know a way to save Dragoni. You can save her. Molly the piggy suddenly stops crying and pleads with a serious face. He had always heard a voice in his head telling him to do various things. For example, protecting Dragoni was among one of them. Bai Yan's hand openly shuddered at the notion. Hurrying to grab the piggy with her free hand, the woman's eye was flaring with hope. Is it true? What you say is true. I can save Dragoni? Tell me now, how do I save her? As long as she's able to save Dragoni, then she would do anything and try anything. Dragoni seems to have ate something called the ice fruit. Molly the little piggy appears bewildered in the face for some reason. You absorbed the essence blood of your husband, the Demon King, and integrated it with your own. That means your blood carries a certain level of his power. By infusing your blood with the ice fruit inside her body, it can then restore Dragoni's demon core. Mother! Bai Xiaoqin cries out after hearing there's hope. Does that mean my blood will work too? He wants to save Dragoni as much as anyone else, so he's more than willing to use his own blood. Furthermore, the steam bun doesn't want his mother to shed her blood specifically. Shaking his piggy head, I don't know, but I have a voice in my head telling me it must be Queen Mother's blood. Your voice. Bai Yin locked onto that key piece of detail and frowned, nodding his piggy head. Back when I first saw Dragoni, the voice in my head told me I must exhaust my life to protect her. Afterwards, it disappeared, only coming back out again at this moment. What? So you weren't joking around with me when you first said there's a voice? Mo Li Shang, the young lad, exclaims, his face full of shock. A while back, his companion, the winged piggy, already mentioned this key fact with him, but the young man only took it as a joke and left it at that. To think it's real. The method to save her, 3. I'm not lying. I'm really not lying. Molly the winged piggy gets all anxious in the face after noticing the doubt coming his eye, tearing up like a child. Queen Mother, you have to save her. Only you can save her. Bai Yin did not respond right away, only slowly crouching down with the girl in her arm while caressing Dragoni's increasingly deathly face. There's true warmth in her face as she muttered what's in her heart. Dragoni, from the time I decided to take you, and I have always thought of you as my daughter. No matter what happens or the price, I will bring you back. Even if that means going to hell and dragging your soul back into this world, nothing will stop me. Bai Xiaoqin's little heart openly shuddered at the idea of going to hell. Tugging at the woman's sleeve, Mother, Xiaoqin, you don't want to save Dragoni? Bai Yin stares at her son, that voice gentle but winded due to the emotions coming forward. Shaking his head, Dragoni is my family, so of course I want to save her, but I want to try first. If my blood is useless, then we can try yours, Mother. If it works, then Mother won't have to get hurt. Xiaoqin, I'm sorry, but if Molly insists on it being me, then there must be a reason. Why waste your blood? Giving her boy a ruffle along the head. Listen to me, I must save her. As distressed as he was, the steam bun knew his argument was lost in this case. Biting those lips, he frustratingly lets go of Bai Yan's sleeve and accepts the situation. If only I can be a little stronger, then I can protect Mother and Dragoni instead of letting them get hurt. Bai Yan saw the feeling of her boy and the guilt he felt. Normally, she would console him and say it's okay, but those words are pointless now, and she knew it. Without another word, the woman pulls out a blade and draws a small line across the finger, thus allowing the golden fluid to trickle down to her daughter's cheek. Perhaps this was too much for Bai Yin, because her complexion instantly went white. In the end, the woman had to lean in against her son for support, otherwise she might have fell backwards over then. Unfortunately, the one drop wasn't nearly enough and forced the woman to press out a second one. Finally, exuding a dreadfully vast amount of frost from the body, Dragoni's soul stirred, but not in a good way. What's going on here? Bai Yin collapsed after nearly losing consciousness. It took her a good moment to regain her composure, but when she did, the following scene sent her into a panicking state due to it not working as she thought. Molly cries out as well. I don't know, the voice in my head tells me this is what we need to save her. Queen Mother, did we hurt Dragoni Wu? The method to save her. For Dragoni, don't be afraid. Mother is here by your side. Bai Yin murmurs this after forcing herself to calm down. She was afraid and panicked there for a second, but she also believes Molly wouldn't lie, so it's going to be all right. Mother, by Xiaoqin's eyes lit up then, after noticing something crucial. Dragoni is breathing again. It's at this moment a faint movement could be seen from the girl's chest, indicating she's alive again. Though weak and small, life has returned, nearly having her heart jump out from excitement. Bai Yin hugs the girl in her arms even harder, hoping the physical contact would accelerate the recovery. Dragoni, Mother will never let you go again, nor will I let anyone hurt you again. Such pain, she couldn't bear it a second time. Not ever. As if to answer the good news, the dark clouds that has covered the area above their heads also dispersed, revealing the bright blueness and the warm sun in the sky. Wanting to join in on the embrace, the steam bun also crouched down to hug the girls. Mother, I promise I will get stronger and protect Dragoni. I won't let anyone hurt at all. Even though the boy remains young in his age, but the face was firm and strong. Moved by the picture, Imo Li Shang, teen, who's been watching from one side, couldn't turn away. Showing a bittersweet smile, Molly, you stay with him from now on. Master, the winged piggy turns around with shock in his eye. Is what you're saying true? I can really stay? Grabbing his chest like he's hurt, the young man appeared sad along the face. Why are you agreeing so quickly when I said you can stay? Your behavior. Do you know how much it hurts me? We've been living together for so long, you rascal. But you're not comfortable leaving Queen Mother alone, nor do I feel comfortable either, so why should I feel guilty about staying? You agree, right? Molly replies with innocence in his voice like he's not doing anything wrong, which in kind was akin to a stab in the heart for the other side. Emily Shang's clearly not used to his partner acting so cruelly. For example, every time in the past when he said he would lose Molly after getting in an argument, the piggy would always cling onto his leg and sob all day long. Now, look what's happening. The little fella was willing to ditch him so fast. Fine, Molly, you can stay, but you must protect Dragoni at all cost. If I find out Yin Yin is sad again with you here, I will break your leg as punishment, you understand? Emily Shang threatens after pulling a long face. The piggy promptly shrank his neck back after hearing this. In comparison to his current master, the poor fella obviously felt it's better to stick with the ladies since he never got scolded like this. Furthermore, Bai Yin would also give him snacks when she's feeling sweet, a polar opposite to Emily Shang's attitude. The only issue was, at the thought of Dragoni's distaste for pigs, Molly would get very tired in the heart. Oh, how am I supposed to win her over? Xiaoqin, Bai Yin slowly gets up. Dragoni will be all right now, so let's head back to the city. Your father is going to be worried, plus we need to send more demons here to search for the missing guards. Okay. Bai Xiaoqin cleverly reached out to hold the woman's hand, but his eyes never left the little girl's frail body. But mother, won't Dragoni be cold like this? Do you want me to help warm her up a little? The method to save her, 5, the ice fruit, is automatically helping repair her core. We can no longer do anything else at this point aside from wait. She will wake up on her own once the time comes. It could be months or even years before that happens, but one thing was for certain, Bai Yin won't give up on this daughter of hers. Regardless of Dragoni returning to her old self or becoming a cripple, this mother only has one wish, and that was her girl being all right and able to live her life. Celestial Palace. Not far away in a certain manner, a certain sick-looking lady was currently covering her own mouth with a handkerchief when she noticed the blotch of red stain from the deed. It pained the lady, which instantly roused a comment from the nearby maid. Miss, should we inform the house chief? No. The lady by the name of Sure shakes her head. Grandfather has gone out to find medicine for me already. I will recover once I take it, so let's not worry others. But why hasn't grandfather returned yet after so long? For some strange reason, she's got this uncomfortable sensation something was off, and it frightened her. This won't do. I have to go to the Celestial Palace and ask Healer you to help me find grandfather. That said, the young lady promptly pulls herself up from the ground. From a technical standpoint, the person called Healer you should be addressed as Grandshifu by the girl here since that person was her grandfather Shifu. However, there's also another layer to their relationship since she's also the old man's disciple, thus complicating the relationship. But miss, your body. The maid sounded even more worried now, smiling to not alarm her servants. I'm all right. You don't have to worry too much about me. If you're still worried, then you can accompany me. This way you can help if anything does happen. After throwing this down, the young lady didn't leave room for discussion and stepped forward for the exit. Over in the main palace wing, the material and decorations here were magnificent, to say the least. Even so, it could never mask the foulness of two females fighting over a man. Right as Sure arrived at the entrance, she was welcomed by an unwelcomed individual who happened to be leaving at the same time as her. Sure, what are you doing here? It can't be. Are you here to look for the Lord? Yin Ruo, she snickers a chuckle, her tone mocking and disgusting as ever while she spoke to the sickly lady. If so, then I can tell you now the celestial Lord is not around. Too bad your trip is in vain. Furthermore, I am his fiancé. If anyone should entertain the Lord, it should be me. Fiancé. This word was equal to a sharp thorn poking at Sure's already frail heart. Smiling coldly to retort, the sickly lady doesn't back down. As far as I know, the celestial Lord never married you, nor recognized your status. Sure. Darkening in the face at having her sore spot poked at. Yin Ruo, she wanted to slap the other side, but kept it inside due to the other side's background. And how would you know? Back then you weren't even born yet. Whether he is my husband or not, it has nothing to do with you. Unlike someone who only knows how to fantasize about the Lord, I at least met him in person, while you only know how to stare at a portrait. The Lord doesn't even know who you are. The jab instantly made Sure draw her hands into a ball due to the frustration she felt. It's true, she never met Chu Egot in person, only crushing on the man because she happened to come across a portrait by chance. Nevertheless, she still fell madly in love with him in light of this thin, frail connection. The method to save her, 6, you insolent. The maid from a Yu family saw how her lady was being bullied and snapped out. My family's miss is Healer Yu's disciple, so you better show some respect. Not to mention Milady's is young and beautiful, unlike you, who is a 1,000-year-old witch. Yin Ruo, she appeared livid across the face. She's lived for 1,000 years, that's true, but she's kept up her appearance very well and hasn't aged in the slightest on the surface. For that she was very proud. To be mocked like this still hurts, though. Forget it, Lu Yin. Sure stopped her maid by raising a hand. We need to go find my grandchifu first. Leave her alone. Sure. Getting even more outraged at being ignored. Yin Ruo, she deliberately lowers her voice into a whisper so others wouldn't catch it. You came here for your grandfather? As far as I'm aware, your grandfather went out to search for an ice fruit to help cure your body. The fact that he hasn't returned yet doesn't bode well. From my view, he's likely dead at this point. Going icy in the face as well, Sure snaps out as an instinctive reaction. You shut up. Shut up? Why should I shut up? Ticking her lips upward in a sarcastic manner, the old witch gets all cocky and conceited. Your body is a sickly mess. If not for you, your grandfather wouldn't have had to go out to begin with. Why don't you just go off yourself so your loved ones don't have to suffer? Maybe then their lives will be better off. At this moment, Yin Ruo, she only wanted to win a tongue fight, to think her words would actually come true in this case. With her trembling finger pointing at the other girl, Sure wanted to say something in retort, but all that would come out was a stammering of nothingness. Eventually, a squirt of blood flew out of the sickly lady's mouth and caused her to fall backwards over. Miss! The maid rushes over to catch the falling woman. In kind, Yin Ruo, she also stood there dumbfoundedly. She didn't expect such a strong reaction, especially the blood-vomiting part. Without another thought, this old witch immediately tried to make herself scarce and hightail it out of there. Unfortunately for her, though, the maid over there caught this. You bitch, you dare bully my lady. Don't you dare leave. The irate maid made a lunge in order to stop her. Originally, Yin Ruo, she wanted to dodge this maneuver, but her eyes have always been a sharp one. Right as she was about to do so, her view caught a glimpse of a certain elder coming out of the celestial palace. Like always, the devious and scheming side came out, and she took the blow head on, thus allowing herself to be thrown to the ground and making herself to look like the victim. You sure, I know you love the Lord, but I only said those things to you because I didn't want you to wait in vain and be hurt in the future. I didn't expect you to be so emotional, showing red in the eye like she's about to cry, the old witch puts on an indignant and aggrieved face. So, I am willing to bear anything your maid wished to instill upon me. After all, if it wasn't for me trying to do good, you wouldn't have collapsed and vomited blood either. Head alchemist of the Celestial Palace, 1. Before you sure could pull herself together and get back up, she was promptly alerted to a loud and infuriated voice from the rear. Outrageous! You sure. How dare you order your maid to attack Ruashi? She only had good intentions in mind. Why are you so narrow-sighted? Do you think healer you can protect you forever? Coming forward was none other than Keeper Ling, the grumpy old elder who hated Bai Yin the most. This you sure is getting over her own head. Who does she think she is? The Lord would never take her considering her status. And because of her own small heart, she's blaming Ro-Shi for her own sickness? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I didn't. You sure falls into a panic at the outcry, biting her lip like she's aggrieved. It's her, Ro-Shi said my grandfather died and won't ever come back. It's not related to the Lord. Why are you framing me like this, Sister Sure? The old which makes her eyes all red like they're red to cry. I can never say something cruel like that. Keeper Ling, you have to believe me. I would never say something bad about the Celestial Palace. Senior Yu is a respected man. I would never. The sickly lady openly gawked her mouth there. She wants to dispute this some more and expose the lying witch. But this level of shamelessness simply left her stunned and lost for words. As a result, the old grumpy keeper took this as a sign of guilt and firmly believed the false story. Noticing the spiraling situation as well, you sure began to stammer and loses her stance. I really didn't. Slowly closing her eyes, the lady knew she's stuck now. Whatever she says, it would only trap her some more. Miss! The maid flew into a rage after seeing how her lady was being wronged. You shameless woman! You clearly framed my lady. How dare you frame her, you? Bang! Exactly then to silence the loud mouth, Keeper Ling attacked by waving his hand and sending out a shockwave. In an instant, the loyal servant who only wanted to help flew up into the air and slammed into the ground again, causing her to vomit blood like she's severely injured. Quick, go find Healer Yu. Only he can save the miss. Another maid who has kept quiet until now cried out to her peers, who promptly rushed into the palace for help. Lu Yan, you sure cries out, her eyes burning with frustration and anger at having her friend hurt. Keeper Ling, my grandchifu, is the head alchemist of the Celestial Palace. Even if he hasn't appeared in public for many years, it doesn't mean he would stand idly by after this. I want to remind you who it is that provides the Dan pills for this place. Don't you think what you did there will make his heart go cold? Sure enough, Keeper Ling went quiet for a while. He knew the underlying threat behind the woman's word and in fact already held back when attacking. Otherwise, considering his grumpy temper, he would have killed the maid already. Also, you should know the old saying of one should know who the master is before hitting a dog. You injure my maid. What does that put me here today? That finally drew a reaction from the grumpy keeper. Huffing a grunt. Nothing but a maid. There are no shortages of maids in the Celestial Palace. If you want, I can send you a dozen or so, but your maid insulted Ruashi. That demands punishment. Head alchemist of the Celestial Palace, too. You sure was weak to begin with. Now under the stress of the other side's accusing glare, her trembling face only got worse as she got in front of her maid as a shield. I won't let you hurt my maid, and she's not wrong. Although this lady of the Yu house was the granddaughter of Senior Yu, her personality was nothing alike to the selfish old man. Of the biggest difference here, she's willing to stand up to those in power if she believes the right was on her side despite everything, which was exactly what's happening here. You sure you dare get in my way when I haven't even punished you yet? Don't forget, your Yu house is only a subordinate faction under the Celestial Palace. What makes you think you can defy me? Gradually darkening across the face, Keeper Ling bluntly states this without a hint of mercy. In light of the threat, the lady did not move, though. She may be weak, sickly, and powerless, but that won't hinder her stubborn nature. Sure enough, a sarcastic smirk forms along the lady's lip. No wonder the Lord never returned to the palace for so many tears. He's likely chilled to the heart by this group of people. Such a place where everyone blindly believes in this Ruo Shi's words. What meaning is there to stay here? I'm willing to be punished, but you need to let go of my maid. You sure bit her lip, but kept her firm expression of unyielding nature. All right, in that case, you'll take 3 of my strikes. If you can withstand it, then I'll let your maid off the hook. Keeper Ling says, his eyes flashing a cold, menacing light. Of course, because of how sick and frail the other girl was, the old grumpy man would never use his full force and controlling kind. Nevertheless, it still doesn't mean he wouldn't make it hurt to show a point of who's in charge. He's not afraid of Healer Yu coming out to demand explanation, but he won't allow any loss to come to the Celestial Palace. As an alchemist capable of creating a level 14 Grey Dan pill, even he is the strongest keeper around, must think twice of crossing the other elder's path. You sure didn't struggle over the demand. Closing her eyes, she confronts the bastard with her pale face, causing the injured maid in the rear to grow increasingly urgent. The poor maid wanted to cry out several times there, but she didn't have the energy and fell over multiple times in the end as she struggled to get up. However, fate wasn't going to let you sure meet her end so quickly today. Right as Keeper Ling's palm strike was about to make contact, a loud, thundering voice booms over and sent the whole place into a shock. Keeper Ling, what are you doing? The ground rumbles over that echoing voice. Next thing everyone knew was an old elder running a white alchemic robe, descending in front of the girls and meeting the attack head-on with his own fist. Sparks flew from the impact, almost like metal scraping against metal. What am I doing? Stumbling backwards from the unexpected exchange, it was Keeper Ling who lost the struggle first, getting dark in the face of the new arrival. Why don't you ask your precious disciple over there? Originally, Healer Yu still had on an irate face against the grumpy keeper, but that instantly changed once this head alchemist turned around to meet the sickly lady. Sure. Tell Grantchef here what happened. I will help you get justice if you suffered any indignation. Because of the urgency of the matter, those maids from before didn't have time to explain the whole story, only saying Sure was in danger and that he needed to hurry outside. Even so, this head alchemist of the Celestial Palace didn't question the urgency. He knows this girl's personality better than anyone else. Unlike his disciple, who's selfish and likes to pick on the weak, this girl was kind, patient, and gentle, only ever retaliating when pushed into a corner. Grantchef, trembling along the eyelashes like she's about to cry. Just now, Raw, she said my grandfather is dead. Is that true? Did something happen befall him? Head alchemist of the Celestial Palace. 3. Healer Yu became stunned there for a moment. Earlier his heart also felt uneasy for some unknown reasons. Now it made sense after having the idea brought up. Even if he wasn't particularly fond of that disciple of his, it's still his. How could he tolerate someone offing his student? Furthermore, there's still the question of why Yun Roshi knew about the matter ahead of everyone else. Matching all these points together, it leaves to beckon on whether or not it's the woman herself who sent the ones responsible for the matter. Healer Yu, I never said anything of that sort. Getting all teary red in the eyes, the old which plays the innocent card. I only kindly mentioned the Lord as a person he already likes, then Sure suddenly vomited blood from out of the blue. Perhaps my careless remarks stimulated her feelings for the Lord and caused such a strong reaction. For that I am truly sorry. But I did not expect Sure to order her maid in attacking me. If Keeper Ling didn't come in the nick of time, I might have died by their hands. Is it wrong for me to show kindness? When speaking the last sentence, the old witch's face grew even more pathetically sad, making it all the more convincing. In response, the old grumpy keeper could feel his anger gushing out, glaring over at his peer who continues to stand guard. I'm sure I don't need to explain the sort of character Ruo she has, do I? She would never say something like that. How can you force her like this based solely on Shirshir's claim? How can you bear it? The sickly lady's appearance visibly trembled over being called a liar and a bad human being. In the end, a squirt of blood came vomiting out of the throat a second time after pressing it down for so long due to the indignation. Turning around after becoming aware of this sound, Hiluyu instantly grew outraged at the sight, getting dreadfully cold in his voice. Compared to Yinruo Shi, I rather believe in my students more. It's not enough that you bunch caused the Lord to never return. Now you want to go after my people as well? In that case, you can forget about getting any more Dan pills from my end. That said, the head alchemist signals the other maids to come forward in order to help support their lady and injured maid. Take the two of them down to rest. I won't let anyone harm my people again. Also, tell the other keepers here that I won't be supplying any more of my 14th grade products to the Celestial Palace. You can look elsewhere. The logic behind Hiluyu's maneuver was simple. If he's going to provide for these ungrateful bastards, then why not spend it on Shirshir, who has been so good to him? At least this way, he could put a foot down so they won't think about kicking him aside after their wings grow hard. Keeper Ling's expression visibly contorted into a mess there. He's outraged, but ashamed at his own lack of constraint to dissolve the situation, which was enough to make him release a dangerous cracking sound along the fists. Keeper Ling, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. The old witch saw this and knew she's done it now. Hurrying to speak with her head hanging down like a repenting child, I shouldn't have reminded Shirshir of the Lord. It's my fault for mistakenly causing all this. Perhaps the incident really left a serious sour note in the old grumpy elder's taste bud, but his tone there didn't resemble any of the comforting and warm tone he used before. These things have nothing to do with you. You is old and stubborn, so it's bound to happen eventually. Go back first and rest. I need to find the other keepers to discuss the matter. Becoming aware of the impatience shown towards herself, Yinruo Shi knew what it meant. Slightly shaking in the heart, she hangs her head and left for the exit in silence. However, the tightly clenched balls that were her hands said everything that was truly in her mind. She's jealous of you, Shirshir. That sickly piece of a flashbag wasn't the same as herself. The old witch understood that everything she owns, everything she has, it all came from lies and deceit. Meanwhile, Shirshir truly did own all the love and care in her life, the polar opposite of what Roshi has. Head alchemist of the Celestial Palace, for in the convening hall of the Celestial Palace, the gathered keepers were all showing various kinds of faces due to the fluctuating emotions in their mind. This was especially true for Keeper Yellow, who went up against his grumpy counterpart. What is Ruashi doing? Even if you Shirshir crushes on the Lord, it's not her business to say those things. Now look at what's happening. Yu is definitely not going to keep supplying us with his Dan pills at this rate. Pausing to glare at this grumpy counterpart, Keeper Yellow gathers his patience lest he explodes. And you Keeper Ling, you're so old already. How could you not know better? All of us here know how much you loves that girl to the point he takes as her grandchild. There's good reason for the finger-pointing here. Unlike the gathered elders in this hall, Healer Yu is the only one capable of concocting alchemic pills of the 14th grade in this whole palace, and it's not a guarantee each time either. Keeper Ling's expression also darkened as he huffed a grunt. Then are you expecting me to sit back while Ruashi is being bullied? Is that what you want? A sense of awkward embarrassment filled Keeper Yellow's face over the rebuke. I also cherish Roshi, but this dispute is completely unnecessary. With the calamity so close, our strength is also very important and must be taken into account regarding the overall situation. In other words, he's accusing Keeper Ling of not considering the whole picture and offended Healer Yu out of self-interest, costing them a major opportunity to get the much-needed supplies for the impending fight. Can you all say less? We have enough on our tables as it is. Keeper Zun frowns and stops them all. This time it's clearly Ruashi who's in the wrong first. Out of consideration for everything and to placate Yu's anger at us, we will need her to put up with the grievance and keep the girl away from Shirshir for the time being. Also, Keeper Ling, I want to remind you Shirshir's body have always been weak and frail. If your strike really did land on her, do you think she would be fine? Even if she lived, she would be bettered and for good because of that. You need to be more cautious next time. This time there were no rebukes from the grumpy elder. He knows the matter was partly his fault for being so rash. In fact, he's starting to regret the matter somewhat. Outside the gathering hall, Yin Ruo, she's been quietly listening in on their conversation like usual. However, her expression had grown ugly and disgusted after hearing what they wanted her to do. It's like someone pulled a hand in her chest and wrung at the heart, making her twisted and grotesque along the face. Based on what? Why should I be wronged? When have I ever been wronged since I came to the Celestial Palace? That never happened even back when Bai Yin was here. Heaving a long breath to calm her unstable emotions, the old witch turns and left for the outside in anger, never once looking back. I'm going to let them know that you sure can never be compared to me. They will pay for this. They will all pay. About the same time that was occurring, you sure the sickly lady was currently sitting inside a laboratory type of room, her face anxious and impatient while staring at her Grandchifu. Head alchemist to the Celestial Palace. 5. Half a ring later, Yu finally opens his eyes and revealed a somewhat pale complexion along with a layer of sweat covering that forehead. Grandchifu, did you find my grandfather yet? You sure urgently asked from across the table. No answer came. Only silence and a pair of clenched fists from the exhausted elder. Please tell me, did something happen? Now, getting even more worried, the sickly lady started sobbing uncontrollably. Don't worry, I can bear the truth. A faint sigh comes out of Yu's mouth at this scene, his old eyes filled with grief. Your grandfather, he's gone. Boom. Like a sunny day, suddenly being covered in darkness, Yu Shure's body collapsed and nearly took to the ground. The only reason the lady didn't was thanks to the wall from behind, keeping her back straight and not breaking apart. How did this happen? How could something have happened to grandfather? He promised to come back quickly. I won't believe it, I won't. As she shook her head, tears continued to roll, thus making the picture all the more heartbreaking. I don't believe it. Grandfather is so powerful. Who else in the world can kill him? Yin Ruoshi. Yu Shure suddenly glared upwards with veins showing in those eyes. It must be Yin Ruoshi. She must have killed my grandfather. It must be her. Yin Ruoshi? Healer Yu's expression deepened into a frown. She doesn't have that ability. No. The lady shakes her head to refute the denial. I accidentally came across her with a very powerful individual before. The person looks like a demon. Furthermore, how could she have known about grandfather's death without us being aware of it first? She must have done it. A burning fire resembling hatred now filled the sickly lady's face. That's right. It must be Yin Ruo, she who ordered that demon. It must be her who's behind all this. Healer Yu's eyes narrowed in as well. Are you absolutely sure about this? I saw it with my own eyes. She called that demon Winger. It must be that demon who killed my grandfather at her order. In this world, the most important person for this sickly lady was her grandfather and Grandchifu. Now that she's lost one of them, a dark side that has never seen the light of day has come forward in the girl. We will leave it at that for now, sure. The first priority is to locate your grandfather's last known location before his death. After we retrieve his body, then we can settle the debt with that Yin Ruo Shi. Getting ugly as well along the face, Healer Yu growled viciously at what has befallen his disciple. If it really is that old woman, then I won't let her go for this. Bai Yin naturally wouldn't know about that incident within the Celestial Palace. Truly, she accounted for a lot of things, but never for someone else taking the blame for her own actions like killing Senior Yu. As the old saying goes, trouble comes from the tongue, and that's exactly what occurred here for Yin Ruo, she who got too talkative. Anyways, there's more pressing matter for Bai Yin and her family to care about right now than to care about other people. For example, getting the heck out of this holy dragon mountain. Mother, are we lost? Bai Xiachen asks with a tinge of worry in his little eyes. Lost? Really, that word has never been in their dictionary until this day. But aside from that, what else could it be? Furrowing her brow at her son's question, Bai Yin hands Dragoni over to her young friend, Emo Li Shang, for carrying. After that's done, she immediately flew into the air to scan the area. To the woman's surprise, though, the base of the mountain remains nowhere in sight despite the greater height she's taken, which was very abnormal. "How does it look, Mother?" The steam bun shouts up from the ground, his eyes eager to get out of here. "Is there a way to leave?" Head alchemist of the Celestial Palace. 6. Something fishy is going on with this holy dragon mountain. When we came, it only took us half a day to traverse the landscape, yet we can't make it down to the base after walking for a full day. I suspect we've activated some sort of trap along the way. Bai Yin explains after musing over the situation. There are countless traps and illusionary spells placed along the place, yet she's never seen anything like them before. Whether it be from theoretical standpoint or their makeup, it's very different from the modern-day style she uses. "Xiaqin, are you worried?" she asked out of fear for her boy panicking. "I'm not, Mother. As long as I'm with you, then I'm happy." Bai Xiaqin shakes his little head and defuse the idea, ruffling the boy's hair with a smile. "All right, Xiaqin, we will definitely leave this place. This child is always so intimate and sensible, like a burning warmth in my heart. But Yin Yin, what is wrong with this place? Why can't we get out of this place?" Mo Li Shang, the young friend, scratches the back of his head in confusion. "For the time being, I can't figure out the cause either," pausing to furrow her brow. "Regardless of the issue, we will eventually find out the reasoning. I'm sure of it." "Okay." Nodding with a firm belief in the other side, the young man doesn't sound worried after that reassurance. Precisely at the same time, while they were searching for a way out of this strange and maze-like mountain, others, on the other hand, had just arrived here to land at the spot they were in not long ago. Glancing around for her precious grandfather, Yu Shir appeared shocked and horrified when she noticed the soul burning inside a pyre of flame. "Grandfather!" Reacting to the outcry, the lost soul flickers with life for a brief second and reached out with a hand. Perhaps want to touch the girl for one last time. However, when the hands of both granddaughter and grandfather interacted, what happened was a heartbreaking scene of the latter dissipating into specks of light, signaling the final destruction of his soul and passing. This spectacle left Yu Shir stunned like a rock, unable to move an inch further from the spot as she remained in that outreaching pose. "Grandfather," she murmurs this while weeping silently. Grandfather not only died, but his soul, it's also gone? Who in the world have such hatred for grandfather that they wouldn't let his soul move on? Collapsing into a crouching pose after losing all strength, the girl cusped her own head in pain that left her crying out in agony. Sure. How many people know about your grandfather coming here to find the ice fruit?" Healer Yu finally spoke up, his face cold and hurt, still sobbing uncontrollably. "Only those in the Celestial Palace know about it." "Then it's undoubtedly Yun Ruo, she who's behind this. Only the Celestial Palace and the Demon Realm's king have the power to kill your grandfather. I'm sure the Demon King didn't move against us. That leaves only those we know. Of why Healer Yu is so certain Ditsong didn't do it was because they took a short detour to the Demon City prior to coming here. From the information he got, the man never left the city. Let's go, sure. It's time we made that woman pay." That said, the old elder picked up the corpse of his disciple and dragged the girl away with him. Of course, this entire event remains unknown to Bai Yin, who should have been close enough to notice the new arrivals. Unfortunately, the illusionary spell they are in has cut her and her companions off in the outside world, making them the only ones being kept from leaving. Secret of the Amulet 1. Shrouded in a shade of yellow as the sun sets for the night, the Holy Dragon Mountain looks like it's made of pure gold, a scene surreal and mesmerizing. In light of this beautiful scene, the party that's currently trekking through the landscape didn't find it so beautiful. Rather, it's starting to wear down on their minds. Yin. Mo Li Shang continues to follow from behind while carrying the unconscious dragon girl. His face starting to show a bit of fatigue. "We've been walking here for a very long time. Do you want to find a place to rest for the night? Me and Mo Li, Piggy, can go explore the road ahead instead while you and Xiaqin rest." Bai Yan's finger visibly shook somewhat at the suggestion, subconsciously reaching up to her neck to grasp onto the jade necklace. She closes her eyes to recall back to the beginning of this whole ordeal. It's already been half a month since they started to wander aimlessly around the mountain, yet the exit was nowhere in sight. At this rate, she's certain her husband would go crazy without news returning. No, Sean, we need to keep going. I refuse to believe some simple illusionary spell can trap me here. Shooting her eyes open again, a flicker of resolve returns to the woman. Exactly like the demon queen suspected, Deetsong became very worried after getting no information or news from his wife. At first, he trusted Bai Yin to return on her own, but that trust soon turned to dread as the days dragged on. Without another thought, the husband began sending his own soldiers to the Holy Dragon Mountain to search for his family's whereabouts. Yet, instead of returning with good news, they reported that Bai Yin and Bai Xiachen were gone without a trace to follow. If not for the connection within their souls due to the binding contract, he might have exploded into a furious rage and burned the entire celestial realm into cinder. While things were falling into a huge mess on the demon realm side, the celestial palace wasn't faring so well either. Right after Healer Yu returned with Yu Shur in tow, the pair began to raise hell across the board. They wanted justice for Senior Yu's death, and their anger was directly pointed towards Yun Ruo Shi. The student and master claimed the old witch sent assassins in secret to carry out the deed, which shocked many of the public. Naturally, a long series of quarreling ensued as a result of this incredible accusation. Healer Yu wanted Yun Ruo Shi's head, while the keepers defended the old witch, saying there's no evidence. Even so, the main lady herself had already been scared out of her mind by the added attention. Before anyone knew, Yun Ruo Shi had snuck out of the celestial palace on her own and headed for the demon city. Inside the new demon palace, Winger was currently standing watch over two little milk buns that were playing in the garden. Unlike before he came here, though, that smile of his while watching the kids didn't look like a zombie anymore, but a genuine expression of warmth. Suddenly, the bird felt a tremor in his heart, causing that beautiful face to shudder and reveal a look of pain. He knows the time has finally come. Ruo Shi is here. She's summoning me. Uncle. Just as Winger's about to turn away to meet the dreaded old witch, a crisp and beautiful young voice calls out from behind, causing his body to freeze up. Secret of the amulet, too. Di Ling, in the cuddly and adorable little princess, blinks and blinks as she asked, Uncle, are you leaving now? Will you come back? For some unknown reason, just hearing the baby girl's cuddly voice was enough to melt Winger's heart and bring sunshine to his world. Showing a faint smile as he replied, Princess, I'm only going out to take a breather. I have no intention of leaving, so be assured. Over the years, aside from the brief moment of warmth he experienced in that deep dark void, no other light has come into his world. And this warmth, he's getting it again from Di Ling Yin right now. That's why the girl, it's another light for him. Then Uncle, you need to come back early and not be like Mother. After mentioning that, Di Ling Yan's head visibly deflated like she's sad. Mother left for so long. I really miss her. Why did she take Big Brother and not me? Taken aback there, Winger softens up his voice to comfort. Her Highness didn't take you because of safety reasons. There are many people out there who want to hurt you. Why? Raising her little head in a naive manner only reserved for a child of her age. I've always been good and obedient, never doing anything wrong. Why do people want to hurt me? Although the girl was more sensible and smarter than the average baby, she's still only a baby. Regardless of her intellect, it's unreasonable to expect her to be more mature and aware of the world. In return, the Birdman could only lower his eyes as well. That's right, she didn't do anything wrong, yet the Celestial Palace still want her dead and won't let her go. Why is the world like this? Why is it so cruel and dark toward the kind ones? Because Winger's voice sounded shaky and pessimistic. Some bad people do things for no reason. So, Your Highness, you be good and stay in the palace. No one can hurt you while you're here. Biting her thumb. Okay, I will be good. If I be good, then Mother will come back quickly. It's the first time she's been away from her mother for so long, hence the strong level of yearning for Bai Yan's return. Then I'll come back soon as well after taking a stroll. Feeling the tug from the old witch again, the Birdman couldn't stay anymore and decisively turned for the exit. Unbeknownst to him, though, right as he did so, a shadow has been tailing him from the rear. Above the quiet mountain road, Winger could soon see that familiar figure anxiously scanning the area for him. There were countless emotions spilling forward then, but more leaned towards helplessness and pain. "Why did you come so slowly? I called you a few times already. Can't you move faster?" Scolding and harsh in her voice. Yin Ruo, she only had negative emotions swelling out after recognizing who it was. Sure enough, the moment they were close enough, the old witch actually went ahead to slap him across the face. This slap, the Birdman did not avoid it, only bearing it bluntly and allowing the trace of blood to leak from the corner of his mouth. Once again, the warmth he had earlier disappeared, replacing it only with a cold, expressionless one. "I had something to do earlier. That's why I'm late." Secret of the Amulet 3. Something to do? What is there more important than me? Do you know how much I've been wronged in the Celestial Palace? That old fart you's apprentice died, and now you sure is pinning the blame on my head without any evidence. Where were you at the time? While yelling out her grievances, Yin Ruo, she visibly shook across the body due to her own rage. Yet, the old witch apparently forgot something crucial. All this happened because of her own foul tongue and not anyone else. Originally, Winger still wanted to defend himself by explaining, but his sight soon noticed the patch of blood staining the woman's chest. "You're hurt. What do you think? It's that blasted you and his precious girl, you sure. They almost killed me before I came here." Baring her teeth in a vicious manner, she huffs a grunt before continuing. "You useless thing, you can't do anything, not even to protect me." Winger simply hung his head there. "I can take you away from the Celestial Palace. As long as you're willing, I can take you away. Then, those people won't be able to hurt you anymore." "Leave the Celestial Palace? Why should I leave? I have the protection of Keeper Ling and the others. Why should I be afraid of a head alchemist like you?" Clenching her fist to reveal a murderous glint along those eyes. "Enough. I came to you this time for one thing. Go to the Demon Palace and kill the young prince. I want his beast core." The Birdman's body visibly froze, not moving an inch like a statue. "I'm sorry, but I told you before I can't do it." "Winger, have you forgotten how Bayin treated me? I am your life-saving benefactor. Do you not hate her in the way she treats me?" Livid and green across the face now. Yin Ruo, she's expression grew tenser and tenser until that voice started to screech. But instead of showing concern, Winger opened up his eyes in a confronting manner. "Ruo, is what you say about the Demon Queen abusing you really true?" Looking at that skeptical face, the old witch actually shuddered like she's been exposed. "What do you mean by that? Why would I lie to you?" "I don't know." A smile bordering on the line of mockery reveals itself from the man, showing he's starting to doubt the supposed truth in his world. How could Bayin raise such a well-behaved daughter and be vicious? It doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. "How dare you?" Stepping forward to do another slap, the old witch held nothing back and caused the man's cheek to go red and bruised up. Huffing a grunt at the injury, Winger didn't retaliate, only quietly standing there like usual. "I owe you that, I admit, so I will bear with whatever you wish of me. However, I won't help you murder an innocent child." Unlike his past deeds of murdering and assassination, he has never killed the innocent and young. That's his final straw that he won't break. Even if the other side that's demanding it was his benefactor and savior in that dark abyss. All right, fine. If you won't help me kill the brat, then I will kill you instead." Flushing red across the face, Yin Ruo, she looked like an insane bitch that would tear the other side apart. "If he is of no use to me, then why should I keep him?" In an instant, a dark shimmering blade of deadly light materializes from the old witch's sleeve, its tip pointing straight for the man's throat. Winger knows what she intends to do. Even so, he didn't move, only making a helpless smile as he closes his eyes in acceptance. A life given, and now a life taken. If she wants my life, then so be it. If not for her, I wouldn't have kept going until this day anyways. However, right as the lethal blade was about to make contact and slice through that throat, An old hand unexpectedly reaches over and caught the sword mid-thrust, leaving only a millimeter of space before it could cut. Secret of the Amulet 4. You betrayed me? Staring rigidly at the old figure gazing down at herself, Yin Ruo, she splutters this out with vicious intent. Winger was equally as stunned like the former. When he saw and recognized the person, he immediately showed a helpless smile along the mouth. Uncle Dragonflame, how come you are here? Shaking his old head in disappointment, the old goat looks like a saddened elder after discovering their young has failed in something. From the first day you appear, I knew you were not quite right and was up to something. I reported this to the king and was ordered to follow you at all time. To think I was right and you were colluding with the outsider. Hanging his head in an apologetic manner, the Birdman had no excuse. I'm sorry, Uncle Dragonflame. She is my benefactor. I have no other choice. Even if she continued to grow crueler and crueler to him, he still couldn't bring himself to abandon her. Hence the reason he came out at the summoning. Benefactor? So that means she can treat you like garbage just because she saved your life? Smile if her mood pleases, then stomp on you if her mood is foul? Donning a sarcastic grin at the mention. No, wait, from the way I see it, this old hag can never be happy. You are a member of the Pteroraptor Crow clan. How can you degrade yourself as such? Imagine what your father would say if he learns of your current state. Maybe he would stuff you back into your mother's belly and have you remade. Winger continues to shake his head in the old witch's defense. You don't understand, Uncle Dragonflame. She is the light in my heart. It was she who saved me and brought warmth to my heart in that lonely darkness. No one knows what kind of place he lived in back then. It's lonely, dark, and without light. More than once, he thought of committing suicide to end the torture. If not for that brief speck of light coming into his life, he would have long left this world due to decay. Yes, I don't understand, but I have a sense of self-esteem. If you hadn't shown the goodness that's in your heart just now and refused to listen to this vile hag's order, I wouldn't have saved you either. Uncle Dragonflame, cutting the other side off with a cold snap of his glare, the old goat wouldn't hear any of it. You scram over to the side. I'll first deal with this woman, then deal with you. He always knew Winger had some motive, just not this level of betrayal. Colluding with someone from the Celestial Palace was a crime worthy of death. Fortunately, the lad didn't lose the last ounce of his consciousness. Otherwise, he might have had to kill him with his own hands. Murdering a friend's child doesn't sit well with the old goat's heart at all. Guilty along the face, Winger didn't dare talk back and hung his head. Uncle, can we not kill her? Consider it as my way of returning the debt. Instead of saying yes like a good elder, the old goat only smirked derisively. You mean to spare her, someone that wants to murder the royal family? Huh, who do you think you are? Me and your father are only old friends. Based on what can you ask of me to let her go? Winger had no way to counter that logic. Yes, the old goat was only his father's friend. Based on what could he himself ask this of the elder? In fact, he now owes Dragonflame for saving him from Yin Ruo Shi's blade. Snorting at that pathetic and speechless face, the elder returns his attention to the old witch to finish the deed. However, as soon as he did so, his eyes immediately fell upon the crescent-shaped moon amulet along the neck. That thing, how come it's so familiar? It's like I've seen it somewhere. Secret of the Amulet 5. He gently closed his eyes, allowing the image of a young human to emerge from the deep passage of his memory. It's a female donning a red dress of amazing makeup, and hanging along her neck was that crescent-shaped amulet. Why is it on you? This amulet is clearly that woman's. Moreover, that woman has now become the Demon Realm's current queen. Although Bayan hasn't admitted to being the same person in Dragonflame's memory from many millenniums ago, he could still recognize her through the aura coming off of the soul. It's identical, an unmistakable trademark of the individual regardless of how many incarnations they go through. Why is the queen's stuff on this woman? Yin Ruo Shi's expression promptly changed for the worse, grabbing the amulet in a protective manner. What do you mean by that? This thing is mine. What's wrong with it being on me? Dragonflame narrowed his eyes and like a fierce beast eyeing a prey. Quit trying to deceive me with your nonsense. That thing on your neck clearly belongs to that. When he was about to speak the last bit, his tongue stopped and changed the wording to a more proper term. That amulet clearly belongs to the queen, so how can it be yours? No wonder I haven't seen it on Her Highness's neck at all. It's been stolen by you. Boom. As if struck by lightning on a sunny and clear day, Yin Ruo, she went deathly pale at being exposed. Why does the old man know about the moon amulet? Why does he know it belongs to that bitch by Yin? You're talking nonsense. Eager to hide her own guilt, she snaps back in a frantic manner like a banshee's howl. What right does a person like Bai Yin deserve to have my amulet? This thing is clearly mine. It was she who stole it from me for a while before I managed to take it back. No matter what, she's not going to admit anything, even if the other side already knew the truth. However, it doesn't mean others are going to buy her story just like that, especially Winger, who's been standing there and listening in with strong intention. The Birdman only appeared skeptical at first after hearing the story from the old goat, but that skepticism soon changed to shock before evolving into an eerie calm. Uncle Dragonflame, this amulet, it belongs to Ruo Shi. Are you mistaken? Even if he tries to hide it, one could tell the swirling emotions in Winger's unsteady voice. His heart couldn't bring itself to believe it, not because of blind belief, but rather of fear for all the pain and suffering he endured. What if Ruo Shi deceived him for all these years? Wouldn't that mean he became a dog for someone for no apparent reason? Such humiliation, he simply couldn't accept it. Ha ha. Ridiculous. This is too ridiculous. Breaking out into laughter at the questioning look, Dragonflame almost found it funny that he needed to explain his own claim like it's some ironic scenario. You ignorant fools even know what that amulet represents? It represents power, talent, and strength. The one holding it will control the world, an omnipotent being to rule them all. Why, you may ask? That's because hidden inside that amulet is the secret to great strength, power beyond anything you could possibly imagine. Go ahead, ask that woman over there if she can tap into the secret. Come on, I dare you. Laughing to no end, the old goat's voice continued to ring against the Birdman's ear like endless mockery. Winger couldn't take it anymore, stumbling backwards until he's leaning against a nearby tree for support. This poor soul kept shaking his head in disbelief like a man that's been betrayed and destroyed from the inside out. Exposing Yin Ruo Shi won. Yin Ruo Shi's heart panicked after seeing Winger's pale complexion. As her most loyal dog, she knows her own lies would turn this one into a rabid dog instead after exposure. If that happens, her life would be in peril. Listen to me, Winger. Biting her lips tightly, she wanted to twist the story to defend herself some more, but was immediately cut off by the old goat's snickering sneer. I reckon you don't even know the name of this amulet, do you? Finding there's no response from her loyal dog, the old witch instead turns to glare at the old-timer. Quit trying to spell false stories in front of my face. All knows that I am the wearer of this amulet. Do you think you can just casually come up with a name and call it true? No matter what, she's going to keep denying the amulet was from Bai Yin. But no matter though, the old goat didn't need her agreement and kept talking without a care. This amulet is named All Heaven, and only one person is worthy of owning it. Unfortunately for you, though, it's not you. All Heaven, as if some sort of long-lost memory got triggered, Winger tightly grasps onto his own head as he murmured to himself. Why does that name sound so familiar? Where have I heard it before? With a boom, something exploded in his mind and causes that face to go deathly pale. The reasoning? It's because a certain little girl's voice started to ring out from the depths of his memories and brought the truth forward. Actually, the life before I entered the Celestial Palace is also dark. If not for All Heaven keeping me company during that period, I might have given up hope and died several times over. All Heaven. It's this amulet here. See? If you can't find me, then go to the Celestial Palace. Recognize me using the amulet. I'll wait for you there if I don't return in time. In this moment, that calm heart could no longer be calm anymore, like a rippling surface of a pond. How did this happen? How could I have forgotten something so important? That dark place kept him from sensing her aura or recognizing her face, but he never should have forgotten that sentence at all. Why? Why did I forget something so important over time? How could I have forgotten it all? Going from green to white, then white to green, anyone could see the Birdman's emotions were very unstable and nearing explosion right now. Why did you deceive me? No longer pained along the eyes. There's only endless fury within Winger's pupil. How many things did he miss because of the deception? How close did he come to making that light within his heart into an enemy? Fortunately, he didn't listen to Yin Ruo Shi's word and did something he would have regretted for life. Why did you deceive me? He asks for a second time, losing all of the warmth and kindness he ever showed to the other side. The old witch naturally cowered backwards at the intimidating pose. What are you talking about? When did I deceive you? This amulet is the queen's belonging. You took it from her. Now tell me the truth. Why did you lie to me? Winger almost sounded pleading, but also threatening. Exposing Yin Ruo Shi to, don't listen to his nonsense, Winger. You know me for so long. Are you really going to believe him over me, who has had the amulet from the start? Trying to force a smile that only made her look bleak and untrustworthy. Yin Ruo, she was betting on their long relationship to prevail. Unfortunately for the old witch, though, the Birdman only saw the look of panic and guilt along the woman's face that left him numb to the heart, making a sarcastic smile. Then why do you not know about the amulet's name, being All Heaven? This, stumped for a proper answer, she bites her lip and forces the excuse. That's because the name is not true. It's something he made up. Winger, you must believe me. I am your benefactor and the one who saved you from that darkness. You said you will protect me forever in this life. Did you not? No longer rippling with emotions, nor wanting to explode in rage, Winger only felt a cold chill run down his spine at what was now the absolute truth. The light. The girl back then called the amulet All Heaven. To think I would be such a fool. I actually forgot something so important like the very name of the item I was supposed to always remember. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been fooled to such an extent by this Yin Ruo Shi either. Closing his eyes in pain, Winger began to go over the many years of humiliation he suffered at the hands of this deceitful old witch. He also doubted why such a kind girl would become so cruel to the point where he didn't want to recognize each other at first. However, Yin Ruo Shi's explanation gave him a flicker of hope for change at the time. Like, for example, she suffered a severe injury at Bai Yan's hand and couldn't recover, or that her fiancé left because of another woman. That's why she had such a huge change in personality. It all made sense at first, but looking back at it now. Talk about laughable, truly laughable for anyone to ever believe that nonsense. Stumbling back as she sloppily tries to gain some distance. Yin Ruo, she now knew what foolishness meant as she fixed onto the once loyal dog. What did you say? I said, this amulet is called All Heaven. The girl who saved me back then told me this personally. Staring upwards with a frosted glint in his eyes, Winger appeared hostile and murderous. Boom! Like a sunny day being torn away, the old witch stammered for a proper reply. The amulet really is called All Heaven? Why didn't those keepers tell me? How come I didn't know? Once again, the hated image of Bai Yan surfaced within Yin Ruo Shi's head. This is all Bai Yan's fault. She never mentioned the name before. It's all her fault. Ho ho. Dragonflame already knew this would happen after he took action, just not this awesome and spectacular. Winger, you are the heir to the Terroraptor Bird clan. It's shameful for you to have ever believed such a vicious woman. I am vicious? Yin Ruo, she snarls viciously in return at the accusation. If it hadn't been for her existence, would the Lord leave during the marriage night? I was supposed to marry the Celestial Lord. It was Bai Yin who destroyed it all, my happiness. When speaking the last sentence, the eyes of this deceitful witch appeared red and fanatically like she's some sort of mad, crazed beast. Celestial Lord? Dragon Flame sounds like he's speaking of something degrading just by mentioning the name. What the heck is that? Don't tell me you're claiming the queen is in love with your whatever lord and stole him away? Oh God, how stupid do you have to be in the head? Compared to my king who rules all of demonkind, your love interest is laughable in comparison. I bet you don't even have the heart of your celestial lord to begin with. That's why he left on his own. pointing her finger out at the old goat in utter rage. Yin have always been a vicious person. She has the Demon King by her side already, yet she refuses to let God go and seduced him before my marriage night. Only fools like you are dumb enough to be tricked by her wicked ways. Exposing Yin Ruo Shi 3 and me turning into this like today is also by Yan's fault. Vicious and malicious in her voice, the old witch grits her teeth when speaking that last bit. Dragon Flame was honestly speechless and didn't know how to comment on that. He knew this woman was a bad one, but not to such an extent. It's downright shameless and illogical. Just then, an old derisive laugh came out of nowhere, followed immediately by the emergence of an elderly figure donning a sleek white robe. Yin Ruo Shi, are you intending to surrender yourself by coming alone? Or are you here to apologize to the queen for all the past crimes you committed? Recognizing the situation had already left her control by the appearance of another third person, the old witch promptly wanted to turn tail and flee. However, by the time she realizes it, there's already plenty of demon soldiers standing on ready with their spears pointing out. What are you all trying to do? I'm warning you. If anything happens to me, then Keeper Ling and the others won't let any of you go. First Elder snickers a laugh at the ridiculous threat. One might think those bastards from the Celestial Palace are going to let us go anyways from the way you said it. Yin Ruo Shi, do you remember what you did 1,000 years ago? No answer came from the woman, merely a look of urgency at wanting to run. 1,000 years ago, the Celestial Realm suddenly came out with word of you being able to save the world, and that our queen will overthrow the world and destroy it. I didn't think much of that rumor, but now it seems those were all you're doing, isn't it? Truth was First Elder had been around the area the entire time, about the same moment when Dragon Flame tailed Winger to this location. But unlike the latter who cut in earlier, he didn't want to show himself just yet since he wasn't instructed to deal with the old witch. However, things have changed now. Since the truth has come out, he no longer wants to stand back since he's one of the few who knew the whole story and more after today's detail being revealed. Pity, our queen did not know your true nature and of how vile and evil you are inside. She kept insisting on you being a good person and ordered everyone to respect you. But I knew better. That's why I had my men shadow you from the very start. But I honestly never thought you were that cruel, murdering a newborn fox when you thought no one was looking. Then, as if that wasn't enough, you fooled those idiotic keepers to attack the queen on your behalf and tried to execute her highness. If not for His Majesty arrival in time, the queen would have died right on that day. Closing his old eyes, First Elder started to recall back to those ancient memories where the events didn't turn out well. But that wouldn't be enough for someone like you, would it? Despite severely injuring the queen and causing the king to give up his essence blood in order to save her highness, you vile scums just won't give up. In the end, the queen lost the baby in her belly because of you. Practically screaming now due to the fierce rage he's been suppressing for all these years. First Elder's detailed recount of the past hammered at everyone's heart like they're witnessing all over again. What exactly did the queen do wrong? Why did you treat her like that? Is it because she's too kind and won't discard a backstabbing witch like you? Growling now, how laughable. Everything you suffered is caused by your own two hands. What injury because you try to save a queen? Only an idiot would believe something so stupid when we take her highness as our liege. Exposing Yinruo Shi for Yinruo Winger sadly closes his eyes. I will never forget how you denigrated her in front of me. Turns out these truths you spout are nothing but lies. I too have been blinded by you for all these years. What irony. Turns out by the time he made it out of that dark place and headed out to search for her, the light in his heart had already left the celestial realm. What makes him even sadder, though, is the fact that this old witch tricked him, causing him to hate the very girl for all these years. In light of the contemptible look she's getting, Yinruo, she actually showed a smug look. So what? Do you hate me now? Don't forget, if it wasn't for me, you would still be out there looking for her. If not for me, would you have such a stable lifestyle for the past 100 years? I bet you would have killed yourself if you had learned of her destruction. You wouldn't be alive without me. All in all, she still believes she deserves thanks for lying to the poor guy, not this sort of maltreatment. Against this twisted logic and shameless attitude, Winger didn't find it strange. Heck, it's not the first time he witnessed such behavior, so all he did was glare at her like a soul-slicing reaper. Under the pressure of those eyes, the old witch suddenly started to panic again after realizing what position she was still in. Winger, even if I didn't save you, we've still been together for all these years. I know you have some ties with these demons, so take me away. Afterwards, we are clear of any debt between us. Even now, the woman here still wants to use Winger to her own advantage by demanding he save her. Talk about shameless to the core. Yin Ruo Shi, making a crunching sound from his fists when forcing that name out. Did you forget the way you treated me all these years? Aside from scolding me, what else have you done? No matter how much I help you, all I get are cold, hard words from you. I put up with it because I thought you were her, but now, forming a condemning smirking. You should be happy I'm not killing you myself, so what qualifications do you have to expect me of saving you? No one could possibly understand the level of pain he felt on the moment he discovered Yin Ruo, she wasn't the real one. It's enough to send the weaker-minded into insanity. That's how intense those emotions were. You can't kill me. The old witch cries out in fright. Keeper Ling and the others won't let you do this. They will come save me. First Elder was done listening to the rambles of this insane woman. Ignoring the struggling witch, he reaches out with his hand and ripped the moon amulet right off her neck with a swipe. No, this can't happen. I can't lose the amulet. A look of desperation gripped Yun Ruo, she's face upon touching her own neck. Give that back. Give it back. Without a care for her own safety now, she madly rushes the elder in an attempt to retrieve said item. Unfortunately, this woman clearly doesn't know her own ability and challenged someone she shouldn't have. Following a heavy huff from First Elder and a wave of his sleeve, the shameless and vile, which was instantly repelled several meters into the air, landing only after slamming into the ground and causing a massive outpour of blood from her mouth. The amulet is mine. Bayan gave it to me, so it's mine. How dare these people steal my thing? Exposing Yinruo Shi 5. First Elder, what should we do with this woman now? Dragon Flame asks with a frown along his face. Faint and unemotional in his reply, First Elder's gaze showed he was looking at nothing more than a piece of garbage. The queen stuff is back in our hands now, so there's no reason to keep her alive. Make sure she suffers a lot for what she did. I don't want to make it too pleasing. Yinruo, she had just finished climbing back up to flee again when she overheard that statement. Immediately, a look of horror filled that face. These people, they really want to kill me? No, she cries instinctively. I don't want to die. Stumbling back to gain space, tears filled that face to make her all the more pitiful. If it were those from the Celestial Palace, they would surely take notice and lend a hand. However, these were members of the demon realm. Even if the soldiers here didn't witness the events of the past in person, they could still imagine the heart-wrenching scenes based on the details they got today. Since you like to act all pitiful so much, then I will make sure you can't ever do it again. Swish! Following a casual wave of his hand, a sword swiftly flashed across Yun Ruo Shi's face. The latter didn't react at first, but as the tingling sensation gradually came through, that's when the woman noticed the slight warmth trickling down the cheek. My face! Ahhhhh. My face! She howls like a banshee, causing those nearest to flinch at the intense screech. Nevertheless, the sound didn't hinder the demon soldiers from enacting their rage at this old witch. They're frustrated and angry as well, but for a different reason of the demon realm being sealed away for a millennium. Scram! Suddenly, a howling roar of intense rage rocked the air, sending the group back and clearing an area away from the screaming woman. Even so, it's already too late for the old witch. Once freed and able to look up again, that face had already been ruined with plenty of bruises and blood. There's nothing left to show what her true contour was before this. Ruo Shi. Keeper Ling went red in the eyes after finding the terrible state the old witch was in. How are you, Ruo Shi? Answer me quickly. Looking up in a dazed-like manner due to how much hurt she suffered, Keeper Ling, are you here to save me? I have come Ruo Shi. I'm sorry for being so late. Don't be afraid. Now that I'm here, no one can hurt you. Flashing a cold, frosted glint in those old eyes towards the demons. They can't do anything to you, and sooner or later, I will make them pay. Going quiet for a few seconds, the old witch simply stared upwards before breaking out into a miserable cry of agonizing pain. Keeper Ling, Healy wants to kill me, so I got scared and fled out here. I didn't want to die before being able to save the world, but during my escape, these demons caught me halfway, and that's when I met this man. That said, she points to Winger. He snatched my amulet away, then shamelessly claimed it belongs to Bai Yin. I want to take it back, but then they try to kill me. Growing increasingly irate along the face after finding the missing amulet along the girl's neck. Bai Yin is a traitor to humanity, so how can she be worthy of holding the amulet? They're only jealous of you and want to steal what's yours. Don't worry, they can never do that, because it's your destiny to own it. Exposing Yinruo Shi 6, what you said there is good. First Elder snickers derisively at his foe's sentence. What belongs to others can never be stolen. Ha ha ha. Letting go of the girl, Keeper Ling returns with a mocking sneer of his own that radiated danger. Then we're of the same opinion. I'm here today to overturn the demon realm. If you demons are willing to return the amulet, then perhaps I will let you die swiftly instead of suffering. Otherwise, the fate awaiting you all will be worse than death itself. Retracting his smile, First Elder also got serious along the face. Do you think you scums of the Celestial Palace really have the ability to overcome us from the demon realm? If it wasn't for you lots scheming against our king back then, something like sealing our realm never would have happened, let alone letting you bastards climb above our heads for so long. Oh, is that so? Keeper Ling snickers again in a contemptible manner like he thought otherwise. Then I will let you know what true power is. I did not want to use this, but you've left me no other way. 1,000 years ago, the Keepers as a whole all knew there would come a time when a great calamity would arrive. In order to combat this threat to the world while Yinruo Shi couldn't cultivate or grow, they secretly hid away a certain power within their arsenals and never used it even during their clash with the demons. But now with the ever-rising threat of Di Tsong and his followers, this old grumpy Keeper knew its time. Closing his old eyes, Keeper Ling took a moment to gather his breath before opening them again to reveal a gaze that's as sharp as a blade. Where's the Demon King? Is Di Tsong such a coward that he wouldn't dare show his face after murdering one of my own? The comment definitely made the demons gathered here turn very ugly. But as soon as Dragon Flame wanted to retort, that's when an overwhelming force came down from the sky and covered the entire landscape in a layer of strength. For Yinruo, she was immediately caught by the sudden appearance of Di Tsong. This would be the first time she's meeting this man again after 1,000 years. Even if she already had Chu Yi God in her heart, the woman couldn't deny her heart fantasy of being wooed by such a powerful man. It's also one of the main reasons she hated Bai Yin so much and persuaded the Keepers to attack the demon realm. She's jealous. The story actually went like this. On one of the days, she secretly followed her former friend to an unknown location. Yinruo, she saw how Di Tsong would pester Bai Yin like a shameless dog in order to win her heart. She wanted to feel the same way, be wanted and cherished like a queen. However, nobody acted that way around her due to her lackluster origin and talent. Eventually, that jealousy evolved into hatred, causing this old witch to report the incident to Keeper Ling and starting the whole war between the two realms. Demon City's incident. 1. Recalling back to all the different kinds of treatments in the past, Yinruo Shi's eyes once again firmed up and showed the vicious side to her nature. She's unwilling to go back to that feeble existence, nor be reduced to an unwanted person like in the past. I hear you are here to make trouble for me. Cool and unemotional, Di Tsong gazes down at the foe and asks with a contemptible glare. Huffing a grunt to shirk off the pressure, Keeper Ling doesn't seem fazed though. I'm not here to make trouble for you. I'm here to kill you. As soon as this grumpy elder finished saying that, A long sword immediately materializes from his sleeve and instantly stabs down at the ground, releasing a huge amount of power in doing so. Boom! The floor rumbles, shattering along in veins like a roaring lion, only to be followed swiftly by the constant hammering of electric might from the sky. Then, as if instructed, one of the lightnings strikes down and aims directly for the Demon King's head in a devastating fashion. Song evaded with ease, of course, using his incredible speed, but that didn't mean the same for some of the less fortunate demon soldiers that could do nothing to save themselves. They were incinerated, destroyed until nothing but a giant crater remained to indicate they ever existed. This, Winger mutters with rigid stiffness after seeing this. Why? Why are these powers so similar to the ones hunting me? Where did the keepers get such a power? Exactly. Then, while the Birdman was still in hesitation over all this, his ears suddenly caught the loud thud of Dragon Flame crashing to the ground. Uncle Dragon Flame, running over in haste to help support the old bone, he sounded urgent and afraid. Uncle Dragon Flame, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault this happened. It's all my fault. If it weren't for me, Yinroa, she wouldn't be attracted to this place, nor would Uncle Dragon Flame suffer such a severe injury at the hands of that keeperling Winger. The old goat heavily grasps onto the Birdman's hand while coughing blood. I don't know if I can hold out. If I don't make it, then I hope you can replace me and protect the royal family. Please protect the princess and the queen. After saying that, the old-timer gradually began to close his eyes like he's depleted. He knew beforehand taking on the thunder would cause severe injury to himself, but to this extent was beyond even his imagination. Unlike the heavenly thunders from a breakthrough or a Dan Pill creation, this thundering event embodied destruction. It destroys everything it touches, regardless of the uninvolved or target. Therefore, even with Dragon Flame's incredible and sturdy body, it penetrated and wreaked havoc across his internal organs. Song saw this, of course, and the huge fatality happening under his eye. Speaking in a heavy note, First Elder, take the others back to the city. I will handle this. But sire, we can't leave you here alone. Even if it's death, we will stand with you. Go back. Song sounded irate now and shouted, Go back and protect my children. Normally Keeper Ling would bring along a whole tirade of companies with him. The fact that he's not, and here alone, meant the others under him must be somewhere else. And where else could they be if Song was out here? Obviously the city or palace, that's where. A simple trick of diversion wouldn't work with someone as smart as Song. Demon City's incident to Winger, Dragon Flame, First Elder shouts, We're going now. Perhaps the Birdman also sensed the deceiving nature of this battle, because his eyes promptly shifted to that of panic. Without a second of delay, B bolts for the palace ground, leaving only an afterimage. Hold on, princess. I'm coming now. The inner courtyard of the demon palace. At the current moment, Ling Yin was holding her cheeks with both hands while sitting at the staircase and overlooking her twin brother playing away. She's very bothered in the face when speaking to the maid next to herself. Sister Mooing, how come Uncle Winger isn't back yet? Did he leave like Mother did? Upon mentioning by Yin, the baby girl's face plummeted even further. Mother has been gone for so long, I miss her so much. Mooing, the loyal maid, wanted to give her a huge hug at this troubled face, but didn't out of respect and loyalty. Princess, please don't worry. Winger will certainly return to us, the same as Her Highness will. Oh, obviously not fully believing her words. Ling Yin didn't argue, and instead gathered her spirit to play. However, that's when an anxious and hurried-looking soldier came running over to report. Your Highness, we've got trouble on our hand. The bastard from the Celestial Palace are attacking us here. You must run away. What? Mu Ying's face changed a greater shade of white at the terrible news. The king had just left the palace, and they're attacking? How do they know the king is away right now? Gritting her teeth, the maid didn't think twice and picked up the princess in preparation to flee. She promised Bai Yin to protect the baby girl at all cost, even if that meant her own life. Yet, fleeing wasn't exactly in the dictionary of Ling Yan's mind right now. scanning with her big bright eyes at the surrounding area. "Where's my father?" "His Majesty already went to fight the enemy." "Please, you must flee, princess." The soldier cries out again, his face growing more dire by the second. "Will father be in danger? I want to leave with father." Biting her lower lip, the baby girl almost sounded pleading now. "You must go now, Ling Yan." It's then Jin Tian, the little glutton, steps in, pushing his twin sister away. "Sister Muing, you take my sister and go now. That's an order. But Prince, you need to come too." Muing also got anxious and tried to reach out with her remaining free hand to lift the boy, slapping it away with his chubby fingers like a proper man does. Jin Tian puffs up his little chest to make himself look bigger than he was. "I'm the older brother and a man, so I have to protect my sister. If I escape, then those bad people will find us. When they do, they will surely know of Ling Yan's existence and not let go." Though the little glutton didn't quite express his meaning in a detailed manner, it's more than enough for Mu Ying to understand. "I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving my brother. I'm not leaving," cry as she might. The baby girl simply didn't have the strength to wrestle out of her maid's arms. "You are a man, but I'm also a woman. I'm not afraid. I don't want to leave you." She continues to make her case to no avail. Seeing the increasing delay, the soldier who first came to bring the message couldn't take it anymore and urged the maid to make a decision. And sure enough, Muing did and handed the crying princess over to the demon soldier's own dismay. "You leave with the princess first. I'll stay behind to protect the little prince." Finding only a dumbfounded face from the other side, the maid roars out in order to snap the soldier out of the stupor. "Go!" Moments later, the image of a messenger was gone with his precious crying cargo and arm. There's no doubt this individual would stake his life on the line in order to ward the princess from all harm. But it's another question on whether he could achieve such a feat with his feeble abilities. "Prince, are you afraid?" "Demon City's incident, I'm afraid." Jin Tian may have kept up a good appearance initially, but he's still only just a child. Once his twin sister was out of sight, he promptly lowered his mouth into a timid frown as beads of tears rolled down his cheek. "But Big Brother said I must protect my sister. Those bad people want to take her away, so I must stay and protect her." Muing naturally knows the little glutton's choice was the right one, so she didn't object to him staying. For the bastards from the Celestial Palace, their information remains limited and doesn't know if Bai Yin gave birth to a girl or a boy. If she really did take both children and ran, it would surely cause a huge mess and they would search everywhere. By then it would be impossible to hide Ling Yan's existence. "Don't worry, Highness. Even if it costs me my life, I will ensure your safety." Firm along the face, the maid meant it and held no hesitation. "Sister Muing, will father and everyone come save us?" "And Uncle left home to find mother. If Uncle was here, then I wouldn't need to fear those bad people. They definitely will." Soft in her voice, Muing wants to comfort the baby boy some more when the worst-case scenario occurred. The attackers have arrived at the compound and has surrounded them. Seeing all these ferocious and glaring looks coming his way, Jin Tian instinctively hid behind Muing. It's obvious he's scared right now. This should be the son of that demon king. A man in charge of this attacking force snickers a grin before waving the others to move. "Take the boy and tie him up. Let's see if that demon king will disobey us afterwards once we take his son." Keeper Ling never gave up on having Di Song's daughter. Even if it's not from Bai Yan's belly, the old bastard still intends to force the issue, even if it meant him going at it with another woman. That's how this idea came into existence. By kidnapping Jin Tian, Keeper Ling could then force him to have another baby. Sweaty across his little hands, Jin Tian remains stubborn in the face when speaking. I'm not going to be taken by you bad people. You lot bully my father. I won't let you people get away with it." The man snorts at the pointless threat. "Your father and mother did not listen to our persuasion. That's why they deserve what's coming. You as their son should act better and think of the big picture. What's a simple daughter compared to the whole wide world? They can always make more." Swish! As soon as his words came forward, a small contingent of the attackers had begun to move without further order. Muing saw this, of course, and hurried to meet the kidnappers with her blade. Thankfully, this mission only came with some weaklings led by a couple of high divines. Otherwise, the loyal maid would never be able to contend with a powerful keeper in their fray. Even so, as middle divine, stalling for time remains a difficult task for the woman who has to fight multiple targets at once. Di Ling Yan's Fury 1, PFF. Suddenly, a strong gush of wind came flying over, slamming right into Mu Ying's shoulder and blasting her backward from the impact. Blood came pouring out of her mouth as a result of the injury. Sister Mu Ying, getting all teary along the face after seeing how the maid tried to protect himself, Jin Tian tightens up his lips and asked, "Are you hurt? Is it painful?" The loyal maid didn't falter, though, in light of the huge disadvantage she faces. Rather, she's only feeling warmth circulating across her veins right now. From the very beginning, the prince and princess has never once treated her or any palace attendants as servants or anything beneath themselves. So, how could she cower when the time has come to show her mettle? Ignoring the stinging pain, she rushes at the crowd once again, leaving a trail of blood in her wake. There's incredible strength in her eyes right now. At the same time as well, the palace guard who left earlier with Di Ling, Yin in arm, was about to make it past the palace gates when they bumped into a crazy-looking figure. Going bright at the sight of the baby girl, the crazy old coot that was once the strongest keeper spoke with glee in his voice. "Good Ling Yin, I was just about to go find you to play." "Huh? What's the matter? Why are you crying?" Since Bai Yin left, the old coot has done nothing but either playing with the kids or running off by himself to the back mountains for some rest, hence his belated arrival. Crying even harder now over the question, "Great-grandpapa, please go save Jin Tian. Ooh, please hurry and save second brother." Not dilly-dally at all, the old coot gets all serious in the face after seeing how terribly sad the girl was. "Where is Jin Tian? Did something happen to him?" Second brother is in the backyard. A group of bad people barged into the palace and wants to capture him. I wanted to stay too, but second brother won't let me and said I must flee. Please hurry before they take him away. What? Mad and crazy as he was in the head, the old coot had enough sanity left in him to know what the consequences are if someone intends to kidnap the little glutton. Flaring up with rage, "Which asshole dares to kidnap my good little boy?" "Don't worry, Ling Yin. Your great-grandpapa here will go deal with those assholes right now." Having said that, the old coot's figure was gone like a gush of wind. Wiping the tears away, Di Ling Yin also firms up in the face. "Mr. Guard, can you take me to find father? I'm worried about father." Greatly startled by the request, the guard immediately shakes his head. "No, Princess, I can't do that. The king is currently locked in battle with those bastards from the Celestial Palace. If you go, then they will certainly know of your existence." Hanging her head after hearing that. "But the one they want to take is me. If I do not show myself, then they will continue to hound father and mother. I am their daughter. I won't hide in the shadows while everyone protects me. Father, mother, big brother, second brother, and everyone in the palace are all my family. I must also fight to protect them. But Princess, the ones from the Celestial Palace will always be our enemy regardless of you showing yourself. Enough! I must take you to a safe place to hide for now." Di Ling Yan's fury, too. "But Mr. Guard, I must see my father. I'm afraid something might happen to him if he's left alone." Grasping onto the demon's shoulder and putting on a pitiful face to play her charm, the baby girl's face could melt hearts if the situation wasn't so dire and permitted it. Unfortunately for both girl and soldier, the two of them weren't going to have the time to make a decision here today. Exactly in the moment when the latter's about to give in due to that face, a series of footsteps startled them and caused the two to look over in the other direction. Among the new arrivals were multiple powerful targets, but the obvious one leading the new group were a kind-looking old man who kept smiling the entire time. Those eyes were locked onto Di Ling Yin, carrying a light of greed and delight at what he's discovered. "Your Highness, it's your father who tasked me to come pick you up." The old man lies without batting an eye. Right away, Di Ling Yin knew that wasn't true and reacted by clinging nervously to the palace guard's neck like the other side would bite if they got any closer. "Don't be afraid. The agitated guard promptly backed off as well to gain some distance. I believe you got the wrong person. She is not a princess, only an orphaned fox picked up by the king somewhere during his travels. Despite the excuse, the smile coming off of the old man there only deepened. Do you think we can't tell the aura coming off of the child is that of the Demon Kings? Little girl, don't be afraid. We won't hurt you. Come with us, and we will go see your father. The old man's smile was extraordinarily kind right then after that last sentence. He just couldn't help it because the reward awaiting him would be unfathomable, especially when he thought all was lost after coming in late. The guard's heart pumped with adrenaline after the blunt statement. He knew there's no turning back from a fight since they're this close. Worse was the fact that he could have turned back with the old coot to where Jean Tion was, that he could find shelter under that former keeper instead of confronting this second group of assailants by being overly cautious. I'm not going with you, said the little princess with her stubborn face. You are all bad people, trying to hurt my father and mother and big brother. I won't leave with you. Unfazed and still smiling with that kind expression. Little princess, your existence is too important to the world for you to be so selfish. Do you want to see the world destroyed? The girl snorts with her tiny nose. Don't think you can lie to me just because I'm small. I know you are here to kill me. My mother told me that before already. I have no relationship with you people, so why should I sacrifice myself for you? Mother taught me being kind is all and well, but it's not all right to be foolishly kind. Di Ling Yan's fury. 3. In Di Ling Yan's view, the only ones that could demand sacrifice from herself would be the ones she cared about. For example, her parents and siblings, or the friends she's made in the palace. Whereas these unknown strangers would be considered just that, strangers that she owes nothing to. The old man's face suddenly sank, causing his smile to disappear completely as well. If you won't come with us, then that leaves me no choice but to use force. All of you go. Take this demon princess down. Understood. Those that came with the old man promptly drew their weapons and readily charged at the pair. The palace guard could see this, of course, and understood the time has for him to put his life on the line. Without another thought, he tossed the girl in his arms towards the inner yard as hard as he could to give her the highest chance of getting to safety. Though it's a futile effort, and he knows it, the soldier still wanted to do everything in his power before his end comes. Princess, run away, go find the king. That's the final words the soldier before it got cut off. 4D Yin Ling, who could only catch a glimpse of the scene once she hit the highest point in the air, the picture was painful to take in even for her immature mind. Bloody, gory, and limbs severed into multiple pieces. That's how quickly the attackers mercilessly murdered the demon soldier who stayed behind to fight. It's a completely one-sided battle that ended in seconds, yet that's all it was needed for help to arrive. Right before Di Ling, Yin came face to face with the cold, hard ground. She had closed her eyes for the impending hurt. However, the impact never came in her shyness from pain. Rather, it's the sensation of a powerful pair of arms catching her mid-fall. Princess, Winger gently whispers his words into her ear. I'm sorry for being late. Obstructed by her own tears, the girl cries while speaking incoherently. Hick! Hick! Did I do something wrong? No. How could you have done anything wrong, princess? Winger found it absolutely distressing to hear such sensible words. It's not right to demand this of someone so young. If I've done nothing wrong, then why do these people hate me so much? I've listened to Mother's teaching and kept my heart pure and kind. Why does second brother have to sacrifice himself to protect me? And why does Mr. Guardback there have to die to protect me? I want to grow up. I want to grow up just as strong as Big Brother. That way I can keep others from being hurt because of me, nor die for me. That's right. In this poor princess's view, the only way she could stop all this pain was to become stronger. Princess, he's a demon guard. It's his duty to protect you. No, he and Sister Muing are my friends. Everyone in the demon realm are my friends. The ones that deserve to die are those bad people and not them. Yes, the ones to die should be the evil and bad ones, not the friends and family in her life. And for the first time ever, a flash of hate and anger filled those big, innocent eyes of this pure child, tainting a small speck of her childish heart. It's then, First Elder and the others also arrives on the scene. They could see the state of the situation, but they were more concerned with the intruders from the Celestial Palace who had also chased over after removing the obstacle. It seems the king is right. You lot really came to attack the palace while we were out. How dare you lay a hand on the princess? Huffing a grunt in an irate manner, First Elder was glaring daggers at the bunch. But now you can forget about ever leaving this place alive. The old man leading the second group of attackers only snickered a laugh at the idle threat. Is that so? Shame, though. I've already had some of my subordinates run off to inform Keeper Ling about the princess's existence. Now, whether it be the Demon King or Demon Queen, or even the Demon Realm for that matter, none of you need to exist anymore. What? Darkening in the face, First Elder's voice grew dreadfully cold, like he wants to snap the other side's neck. Sneering some more after getting the reaction he wanted. Do you know why the Celestial Lord never moved against the Keepers despite his hatred for them? It's because they hold an ancient relic in their hands. It's an incredible weapon containing power capable of destroying everything. And such a relic can only be activated by the Keepers themselves. Di Ling Yan's fury for the old man's smile deepens like a tactician winning a battle. Guess what? Keeper Ling only held back against your king because he needs him to produce a daughter for us. Now that we have one right here, what makes you think he will let that abhorrent Demon King live once news gets to his ear? Without surprise, First Elder's expression devolved into an ugly frown. He's all too aware of what the other fellow was implicating by that threat. The power from that strange lightning caused by the sword from earlier still left his heart trembling with fright. It's overwhelmingly powerful and destructive to the point where even he has to watch out from being struck head-on, clenching his fist until it's slightly shaking. Don't look down on the king of the demon realm. I can say for certain, even if all the keepers from your celestial palace gathered here today, it would only end up in a deadlock between both sides. Ha ha ha. The old man laughs some more, like he's just heard something hilarious. That would be the case if you hadn't touched Lady Ruah Shi. She is the future savior of our world. What qualifications do you animals have in targeting her? That's why Keeper Ling brought out the ancient sword for this fight. He's not messing around anymore, you see. The power of the ancient artifact may be powerful and terrifying, but it's a consumable item that could only be used once after being fully activated, hence its lack of appearance in the battle 1,000 years ago. Uncle Winger, Di Ling, Yin hurries to tug at her protector's shoulder after getting all anxious. I want to go see my father. Hurry, and take me to my father. Great-grandpapa already went to Jean Tion's side, so he will be fine. I must make sure father is okay. Princess, Winger sounded hesitant despite the plea. Unbeknownst to everyone else, that lightning from earlier was practically the same power that's been hunting him for all these years. Imagine hiding for all your life from a nightmare, and now you're being asked to confront said nightmare. Who wouldn't be scared? Nevertheless, once he took another look at the baby girl in his arms and that tearful face, the Birdman just couldn't refuse, nodding his head with a firm light. Okay, I'll take you to him. Even if I have to risk my life at being discovered, I must go. I owe it to the queen. I can't repay the debt to her now. That leaves her daughter, the princess. Back over in the Holy Dragon Mountain, Bai Yin has been continuing to trek through the thick shrubberies when her temple ached with a throbbing pain, causing the woman to stare up into the sky with a frown. Mother, is something wrong? Noticing the oddity, Bai Xiaqin quickly asks with his curious face, gripping her chest like something's wrong. Xiaqin, we need to hurry and find a way out. I fear something might have happened back home. How can this be? Di Tsong is watching over the demon city. There's no way something can happen while he's there. Am I overthinking this? Yin Yin, look. Emoli Shang, the young man, suddenly calls out from the front, his voice sounding surprised by what he's pointing at. Looking over as instructed, Bai Yin too was surprised by the scene. It's a huge lake of icy blue color, which reflected the sky like a crystal mirror. Dragon Spirit Lake. Molly the winged piggy promptly jumped out of his master's arm and started to flap his wings excitedly. Hurry, Queen Mother. We need to put Dragoni into the lake. The lake water will help her wake up. Despite her own woes about a strange lake that seems to appear out of nowhere, Bai Yin wasn't going to doubt the little fella's decision. From the very beginning, this piggy has done nothing but look out for her goddaughter with no indication of that ever changing. Di Ling Yan's Fury 5. Originally, this cold lake should have been enough to turn any person into a greenish hue due to the insane low temp. But as Bai Yin slowly placed the girl into the water, what came of it was nothing short of serene. There's a little bit of flush red filling Dragoni's face, making her look like someone that's peacefully asleep. Do you feel it as well? Bai Yin turns to Mo Li Shang, the young man, after checking the air. The atmosphere here is very thick with spiritual energy. It's a suitable location for training. The young man nods in agreement. Indeed. Unfortunately, I don't have time to train here now. Let's look around first. There's bound to be a way out of this place. The panic and unease have grown much stronger by this point, making the woman more urgent to return to her husband's side. Okay. Sensing the tension as well, Mo Li Shang didn't dally around and quickly began the search. It's then, something up ahead caught there that seems to appear out of nowhere. Standing at a person's height was a monument with several words etched along the surface. To break is a demi-divine lord. Demi-divine lord? What does that mean? Mother, Bai Xiaochen tugs at Bai Yan's hand. This monument says demi-divine lord. Does that mean we need to break this monument with a demi-divine lord? Does that mean we can leave after we break it? A shudder breaks into Bai Yan's heart, causing her hands to clench into a ball in the process. But how can I spare the time to advance into the demi-divine lord level? The city is under attack, and I'm supposed to sit here and train? Making an extremely frustrated face. Why? Why must I fall into this forsaken place at this time? Why does the city have to be attacked while I'm away? I can't do this. I must return to Di Tsang's side right now. Bang! Not hesitating, Bai Yan throws a heavy punch at the monument. The force used could crush a rock, but instead of showing a single crack, the recoiling force from the impact actually bounced her back to the ground. Mother! Greatly startled by the turn of event, Bai Xiaochen didn't think twice and threw himself to her side. Mother, you will be hurt if you continue to hit it. I don't want you to be hurt. It's okay, son. Move aside and let me do this. We can't stay here and continue this endless wait while your father is in danger. Climbing up again, Bai Yin pummels her fist for a second time and roused a similar outcome. Not conceding, the attack continued, only to repeat itself time and time again. Eventually, blood came seeping out of the woman's messed-up fingers that had clearly been scratched to the point of showing bones at some point. Demi-divine lord. Why is it only a demi-divine lord that can break this? I refuse to believe that's the only way. Even if I'm only at the high divine stage, I will break this blasted rock. No one can stop me from going back to Di Tsang's side, let alone a monument in this forsaken place. Yin Yin, Mo Li Shang, sounded distressed now, especially when his gaze fell upon the female's hand. He wants to stop her from doing this, of course, but against that strong level of determination, he just couldn't bring himself to do it. Moreover, he's far too aware of how much Bai Yin loves Di Tsang. To ask his friend there to stay put and train patiently would be equivalent of killing her while the husband was in danger. Very soon, a trickle of blood came trickling down the woman's lip due to the continuous recoiling force of her punches. She's at the point of sustaining an internal injury if she keeps this reckless assault up. Dragoni's father, one click. From out of the blue, a crisp sound rang out from the study structure. It's a clear sound that echoed across the environment. Mo Li Shang was the first to react here, and he could see the cause of that sound. Right in front of his, I was a small, tiny crack along the stone surface. Though it's hardly worthy to be called a crack, but it's more than enough to make him gawk. How can it be? That monument clearly said that only a demi-divine lord can break it. Yin Yin is only at the high divine level. How did she manage to make a crack on it? For a while, the look self-doubt was all that was plastered along the young man's face. He's obviously having trouble believing his own eyes despite reality being in front of himself. Bai Yin, on the other hand, didn't let up though. She's unimpressed and continued to barrage the monument further and at increasing ferocity until, boom, like a rocket making impact on its target, The structure suddenly exploded under the final punch from the woman's fist. She's expended after this achievement. Collapsing backwards like a wilting flower, Bai Yan's condition wasn't any better than the very thing she destroyed at this moment. "Mother!" Bai Xiaoqun cried out and dashed over to catch the falling body. The child wanted to do something to help elevate that pale complexion, but all he managed was a reckless frolicking of his arms in the air, like a clueless dote that he was in these situations. Exactly like his old man. "Mother, does it hurt? It's my fault. I couldn't help you." In the Steambun's view, he's a man of the family and should be the one carrying the weight of any problem. It didn't help his consciousness either when he saw those messed up fingers of Bai Yan's. "I'm fine." She forcibly pulls herself back up from the ground and scanned the area for change. "The monument is broken. Why are we still stuck here?" "Yin Yin." Emo Li Shang runs forward and picks up a yellow scroll from the spot where the rubble was. This appeared after the stone shattered. "I believe there's a clue in it." Taking it over without a second of delay, Bai Yin quickly opened it and read the content to her own surprise and frown. "If the monument is broken by a demi-divine lord, then one shall stay forever. If broken by one not of thee, they shall stand after the break." By now, Bai Xiaoqun had also gotten a look at the scroll by gleaming up from the side, cringing up his face in confusion. "What does that mean, mother? What does this stand after break?" The woman didn't answer her boy's question, though, only tightly clenching onto the scroll and making a deep frown. "Xiaoqun," Emo Li Shang steps in to explain, "I speculate the meaning is that the stone monument can easily be broken by a demi-divine lord's power. However, it also means they will be forever trapped here if one did so. Respectively, those that are beneath said level like your mother may not have an easy time breaking the monument, but it's possible, and it's the key to our escape from this place. This time the party has gambled it right, and it's also due to Bai Yan's love for Di Song. If not for that powerful emotion, they might have really stayed to do as the word said. By then, they really would have been trapped for good. Dragoni's father, too, is that so?" Bai Xiaoqun nods like he's enlightened now, before turning back to Bai Yan. "But then why is mother ignoring me?" Emo Li Shang also noticed this oddity at this point, furrowing his brow while looking over. "Yin Yin." Unfortunately for the two lads there, their words aren't going to reach the woman's ear at this moment, because something else was happening under their very eyes. Right now inside Bai Yan's mind, a haze of fog blinds her sight of view. Where's this place? Who's messing around? She scans the front vigilantly for signs of attack. It's then, as if to answer her call, a surreal voice speaks out from all directions. "Fated one, if you are able to come to this place, then that means my daughter is with you, right?" "Daughter?" A slightly confused look took hold of Bai Yan's eye. There are only two females in their party, one being herself and the other being her goddaughter. And if she remembers correctly and without fault, Dragoni should be the daughter of the former dragon chief from the demon realm. It doesn't add up regardless of how she calculated it. "Your daughter? You mean Dragoni, my goddaughter?" Frowning now along the face and speaking in a hostile tone. "I know for a fact she is the daughter of the former dragon chief from the demon realm. Why are you impersonating her birth father?" The voice clearly sounded pleased based on its tone despite the aggressive attitude from the other side. "You are not wrong in your assumption. Technically speaking, I am her father from a previous life. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, I had to seal her soul up until the opportunity presented itself. In this case, she went into the wheel of life and was reborn, as you said, the daughter of that former dragon chief in your memory." A surprised face promptly gripped Bai Yan's expression because she knew all along something was amiss when she met Dragoni. The attachment she held towards the girl was strange to say the least, especially when they never met before until her first arrival at the Demon Realm's palace. In light of her own shock, Bai Yan didn't hurry to follow up with more questions. Rather, she gathered her wits to get to the bottom of the current dilemma. "Then what is this place that I'm in? If Dragoni is your daughter, does that mean anyone else can also come here if they had her with them?" "No." The voice sounded faint and distant. "That is not the case. The reason I allowed you in here is of my own choice. I sense the blood that is yours inside my daughter's vein. That's why I brought you in here when you picked up the scroll housing my soul. It's also why I am calling you a fated one." "Blood?" He must be referring to the essence blood I used to save Dragoni. To think the reason why I wound up here is because of that. I'm assuming you didn't summon us in here just to recognize your daughter, is it? There must be another reason as well. Perhaps it's due to the voice's relationship to her own goddaughter, but Bayan's tone also softened up when searching the area for signs of the source. You don't have to look for me. I won't come out with my current appearance. It will certainly frighten you if I did, so after going through that event. Furthermore, I can't either even if I wanted to because my continued existence can only be prolonged by staying within the scroll. So, I will have to bother you to keep watch over my daughter in the future. Event? What event are you talking about? You're too weak the way you are to ask for that detail. Fated One, there are things in this world that aren't fit for the weak to know. Secondly, I didn't summon you into the world of the scroll for such talks. I'm here to give you an aiding push. Immediately, Bayan's forehead had cringed up into a knot after hearing his intentions. She was just wondering if the so-called event was related to the calamity that's being mentioned by the Celestial Palace, but to be told she's going to get help from a stranger's voice? Now that's something she never expected. Dragoni's father, 3. How can you help me? I will give you the rest of my strength to help you advance into further heights. Afterwards, I will return to my slumber. But my daughter, I will have to bother you to keep caring for her in the future with the power I give you. Boom. Just when Bayan wanted to open her mouth, a stinging sensation suddenly filled her head and made the woman flinch. Before she knew it, an outside force bordered on the line of invasiveness entered her veins and gathered into the Meriden. My daughter hasn't woken up yet, so you can put her in this place for a while. No one can step foot here. She's safe, and the flying pig around you. Let him stay and look after my daughter too. Oh, and your son is quite good from the way I see it. If later on he can cope with the upcoming changes, then I will promise him my daughter. As icing on the cake, there's also a demon sealed within the ice lake here. If your son ever gets strong enough to reach the demi-divine lord level, have him come possession of it. For a moment, Bayan wanted to smack herself to see if this was real. Why does Dragoni's father sound like a market madam that's constantly yapping away without end, long-winded and endless jibbery-jabby? But why a demi-divine lord? Is there a reason for that? Because that place can only be reached if one is a demi-divine lord. In the voice's view, this was the only gift he could offer outside of the power he's going to give her. For saving Dragoni's life, and for allowing himself to meet his precious daughter again. You can rest assured, tightening up her hands in a firm manner, no matter what happens, I will not abandon Dragoni. She's like family to me. I won't abandon family. I believe you. How could he not believe Bayan? A human woman who would take her own essence blood out for a demon. That's something he's never heard of during his period alive. I also want to ask one last question. How do I get out of this place? The voice didn't hesitate and answered right away like he expected it. That's easy. You couldn't leave before because I wanted you to come here. Now that I've met you, the obstacle will naturally clear out on its own if you continue to walk down the mountain path. After saying this sentence, the strange presence simply disappeared. Bayan understood why, of course. Without energy to support his own soul, the voice was bound to fall back into slumber until it regenerates enough to function. The issue was when? Days? Months? Or years? Unaware of how long the time has passed in her current state, Bayan's body had started to tremble excessively due to the surging power from within. She never experienced such force before, which felt like it's going to make her flesh burst. Even so, the mind was the key here. As long as she's able to overcome the mental and spiritual test provided by being fast-tracked at her growth, the power would be hers to wield. Mother, Baishachen asked again from the real world, what's wrong? Why are you ignoring me? And suddenly making a breakthrough, and 2 stages in a row, directly from a bottom divine to a high divine? As if to answer his call, Bayan suddenly moves again. Reaching out with her hand, she rubs the boy's head in a soothing motion. Don't worry, Shachen. I only met Dragoni's father, just now. This place is also made by him. Dragoni's father? The steam bun lights up in the face. But isn't she the daughter of the former dragon chief? How did you meet him? Well, it's a difficult thing to explain, But everyone has a past life, right? This father is one of Dragoni's past father and not the one you know of. Dragoni's father, 4, by Xiachen makes a face like he's enlightened. Now, I understand, mother. So what did Dragoni's father say? Smirking mischievously, Bai Yin throws the bomb down like a sly fox. He said to betroth Dragoni to you. Oomph! Emoli Shang instantly started to cough like he's been hit in the stomach. How old are the kids? They're already talking about betrothal? And it's done by the parents' own mouth? Then, as if recalling something, the young lad slowly sneaked a peek to the winged piggy next to himself. He wanted to find if there's any change in the little fella's expression, but found none to his own relief. It seems I was overthinking the matter before. Molly only wants to protect the girl in the purest sense, and not anything else. Mother, the steam bun gets unhappy and buries his frowning face into the woman's belly. I don't want a wife. I only want to stay by your side. Also, Dragoni is my sister. If me and her marry, then wouldn't that be considered incest? Bai Yan's face visibly twitched over the last bit. You're not blood-related, so it doesn't matter. You're still young, so you will understand this in the future. The boy merely tilted his head like a lost child. Will I really understand in the future? Then, mother, how are we supposed to get out of here? Looking up to face the downward slope, Bai Yin makes a meaningful face. We need to continue down the path. This place won't stop us anymore. However, Dragoni needs to stay here under her father's request, along with Molly to watch over her. Emoli Shang was the first to react to that statement, since it involved his companion, making a reluctant glance to his little buddy. Okay, you stay and protect Dragoni while she's asleep. Me and Yin Yin will leave together. Although the lad and his piggy companion did agree to split up before, but to actually have the pair go ahead with such an idea was still painful for the pair. Showing tears along his piggy face, Master, I will be sure to protect Dragoni, so you can be assured. Regarding this arrangement, Bai Yin didn't have any objections. In her view, there must be a reason why the voice insisted on the piggy to stay behind. Mother, doesn't it hurt? Bai Xiachen carefully raises the woman's hand with a look of pain over the revealing bones. I will blow on it. Before you would always blow on my wound if I got hurt, so you'll be fine too. That said, the boy promptly began to puff up his cheeks to give it a big huff of air like it would do something, still hurt. Of course not, you silly, rubbing her son's head in a happy fashion. We will go back now. Your father and siblings are waiting for us. What needs to be done has been done on this account. Now all that leaves was to confront the enemies coming at them, and whatever fate holds for her and her husband, Bai Yin intends to meet it together. The sky above the demon city has already been shrouded in dark looming clouds. It's uncomfortably suffocating under the constant hammering roars of the thunder. Even so, a single figure remains standing with no fear in his eyes. Such a being exuded dominances and power. Keeper Ling. Suddenly, an excited voice came over from the rear and landed on the conceited keeper's side. Dragoni's father, 5, what's going on? The grumpy keeper asks, using a deep voice after seeing how excited the other Sid was. I have wonderful news, Keeper Ling. The demon realm actually has a princess that's only 2 years old. Back then, the demon queen didn't just give birth to one, but a pair of twins. Boom! The messenger's words were like a beaming ray of sunshine for the keeper, causing him to choke for a proper response to describe his own ecstatic emotion. In contrast to the delight felt by the members of the Celestial Palace, Yin Ruo, she didn't feel so happy right now. She's downright distraught at the outcome regarding her own fate. Why? Why is there a princess in the demonic world? And that winger would hide the fact from me. What am I supposed to do? If Keeper Ling really manages to kidnap the princess, then I will have to carry the burden of saving the world. That bastard, is he trying to kill me by lying? Hatred has long filled the woman's heart. Therefore, the news only added to her vile nature. You are saved, Ruo Shi. You are saved. Keeper Ling couldn't hold back and grabbed the woman's shoulder, oblivious to the fact that the other side was making a face uglier than seeing their own parents die. Are you happy? Now you will finally be able to cultivate again with the demon princess's blood. Shuddering some more, the deceitful, which didn't know what to say nor respond. She's merely standing there in a daze. Can I not? My body is just fine like it is. Deetsong didn't miss their conversation, of course. Immediately, the Demon King's brow began to furrow up. In the end, Ling Yan's existence became known to these people after all, but I won't let anyone hurt my daughter. Demon King. Keeper Ling smirks like he's won already. Over the years, your kind have sinned, but now you can finally redeem yourself somewhat by sacrificing your daughter to save the world. So I forgive you. Boom. In light of that self-conceited and self-righteous sentence, the old grumpy man didn't hold back. Perhaps it's the fact he no longer had a use for Deetsong, but the power coming out of the sword just increased by several folds, meaning the battlefield had spiraled out of the Demon King's control. Back over in the city streets, Winger had just finished running out of the palace with the princess in arm when he sensed the terrifying power coming his way. Without a second of hesitation, he whisked his sleeve towards the sky to fend off the lightning strike that was striking down in their spot. Bang! Puking blood from the impact, the Birdman went deathly pale as he gets forced back. Uncle Winger, Di Ling burst into tears. Are you hurt? Dragoni's father, 6. Winger shook his head and warmly brought the girl in his arms closer for protection. Princess, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid it won't be easy for us to seek the king now. Di Ling Yan's eyes dimmed somewhat. She wanted to head to her father's side, but she also knows the act of dragging someone else into trouble was a wrong thing to do. Let me down, Uncle Winger. It's okay. You don't have to look down at me like that. I'm actually very tough and can take care of myself. The milky voice and strong determination sent the Birdman trembling inside because he felt ashamed for being a coward. A full-grown adult couldn't even compare to a 2-year-old courage. What more does he need to say? Princess, I actually don't feel hurt at all from the lightning. It's no different from an itch. Here, I'll take you to the king. Even if that pain stung him deep into the bone, Winger won't allow the baby to go off on her own. It's his duty right now to protect her and his wish. Really, a puzzled expression came off of Di Ling Yan when looking up. I've seen Mother take hits from a lightning. It hurts a lot. Don't worry, Princess. That is not a thunderbolt, so it doesn't hurt. Would I lie to you? Look at my face. Does it look like someone that's hurt? Though palish in color, Winger's expression remains relaxed on the surface and even showed a slight smile to emphasize his point. Okay, Uncle Winger, I believe you. But first let me down. I can walk on my own. No, Princess. We have to go to the king faster, so let me carry you. He tries to persuade her by speaking softly, nodding over the suggestion since it's reasonable. Di Ling Yin didn't object. All right, we will go find father. I don't want anything to happen to him. Okay, let's go. With the nod given, Winger began to move with the girl firmly protected in his arms. He's making sure his entire body was acting as a shield when the lightning bolts come down again. Otherwise, it would surely hit the princess if he's not careful. Very soon, the Birdman could see the tightly closed gate of the city after enduring several more strikes from above. He's spitting blood now for the corner of his mouth, but he's done and kept the charge in his arms safe. Uncle Winger, you tricked me, you're hurt. Let me down. I will go on my own to find father. Boom. Only a meter away from the exit, Winger finally collapsed under the last blow from the sky. Ah! Di Ling Yin cried out in fright. Uncle Winger, how are you? Don't die, please. I know I'm wrong. I shouldn't have asked you to help me find father. Don't die. Seeming to recall something crucial, the girl suddenly picked up a dagger from the ground nearby and cut open her finger, thus allowing the blood to flow into Winger's wound. Tearful Ling Yin, slightly quivering along the eyes. Winger slowly regains his consciousness after falling down, only to be welcomed by the image of a crying girl after looking up. Princess, don't cry. I'm fine. Reaching up with his hand, the Birdman attempts to wipe away some of those tears. Then, that's when he noticed the cut across the girl's finger. What did you do? Finally smiling after confirming the other side was fine, Di Ling Yin immediately got all happy again, knowing she succeeded. Back when I was at the Sky Mountain, I accidentally cut myself when I tripped over a withered tree's root. My blood made the old tree grow again. So, I thought if I smeared some of my blood on your wound, it might help heal you too, Uncle Winger. Like the baby girl says, her blood does have the magical property of healing anyone if applied, but only if the patient was still alive and breathing. A tight pain promptly gripped Winger's heart due to this news. He's fully aware of his own lowly status. If not for being saved by the demon realm, someone like him wouldn't even be worthy of being in the princess's presence, let alone demand the baby to offer up her blood. Such privilege and honor. He should never have received it nor deserve it after all he's done. And exactly then, another past memory suddenly surfaced within the Birdman's brain like a stroke of light. It's the time he spent in that endless darkness and how the tender voice of a strange girl came into his life. Just like her mother, the princess is kind and beautiful. How could I have been so foolish and misled for all this time? That Yin Ruo, she could never do good with her vile nature. How could I have been so stupid? Princess, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Guilt, pain, regret, countless emotions blended into one indescribable emotion that continued to rip away at the man's soul. Why are you apologizing, Uncle Winger? Blinking her big baby eyes, Ling Yin didn't understand why the other side would suddenly say that. Closing his eyes in pain, the man decides to come clean. In the past, your mother gave me the only hope in life during my darkest moment. I promised to go find her if she couldn't come find me afterwards. However, by the time I did, she was already gone. Even worse, I misrecognized your mother's enemy as her and did some very terrible things during that period. I almost did it again and was supposed to kill you and your brother. He wanted to speak the truth and spill everything how his heinous past. And now that he said it, it both removed a heavy burden from his shoulder and frightened him. The former being the guilt, the latter of not being able to achieve forgiveness. I won't blame you, Uncle Winger. Mother said it before, a good child is one that knows when he is wrong. So, Mother won't blame you either. Awash with purity due to that clean voice, Winger never felt so refreshed in his entire life. But your mother, she doesn't seem to remember me anymore. If she had remembered me, she would have gone to find me long ago, probably. Isn't that easy? If Mother doesn't remember you, Uncle Winger, then we can remind her. Tilting her little head, Ling Yan's answer to the problem sounded so simple, yet so obvious. But Uncle Winger, have your body recovered yet? Tearful Ling Yan too, feeling much better now after his brief recovery. Winger stands up and readies himself. I'm ready, Princess. We can continue to look for the king. Outside the gates of the city, all was in ruins due to the massive damage to the landscape. Even so, Song remains firm against the constant hammering of that destructive thunder and hurricane-level winds. Against this level of devastation, not even Keeper Ling could keep his old heart at ease. There's shock and there's fear plastered all over his face right now, because he expected the battle to be over by now. Has this Demon King grown to such an extent? If it was anyone else from the Celestial Palace taking on those bolts, they would have fallen long ago. Pity. If only we had destroyed him properly back then when we had the chance, then I never would have needed to waste the precious sword's power on him today. I can't let this go on. If this Demon King continues to grow at the rate he's doing now, then it would just be a matter of time before he overturns the entire celestial realm. Gritting his teeth at the thought, Keeper Ling once again reaches out to grab at the ancient sword's handle. However, instead of wielding the blade like some would expect, the artifact seems to have a mind of its own and came alive by sucking the old fella's energy dry like it's a black hole. In contrast to the withering look of the user, the lightning above in the sky only grew in kind, giving off a sensation that it's tearing apart the world due to the new influx of fuel. This was a terrible turn of event for Song, of course. He's been drained already after being repeatedly bombarded by the destructive bolts of electric might, and now that body of his had started to show signs of depletion, meaning it's a matter of time before he falls if nothing was done. Naturally, the king of all demons couldn't allow that under any circumstances. There are his subjects behind himself that needs protecting, but more importantly, there's his children that's still hiding in the palace. No matter what happens, the man and father won't and couldn't allow himself to fall. Suddenly, the blurry image of Bayan's face seems to materialize within Song's view in this dire time. It's just that instead of the iconic red dress that she's always worn, The dazzling and gorgeous woman had on a pearly white garb, giving him a smile so wonderful that it's captivating, exactly like 1,000 years ago where his heart was swept away with one simple look. Demon King Di Song, 1,000 years ago you would never have allowed yourself to be placed in this predicament. Aren't you regretting it? Regretting all your past deeds? If not for your brash act of barging into the celestial palace and saving that wretched woman, none of this would be happening today. Seeing the other side's about to give, Keeper Ling decides to put the final nail in the coffin by spewing out the snarky remarks. Make no mistake, though, this arrogant and grumpy keeper may have the upper hand right now. But even he knows that without this ancient artifact in his possession, he would never be able to overcome the other side. Narrowing his eyes into a glare, Di Song stares down menacingly at the annoying thorn that wouldn't shut up. You emotionless old fossils could never understand what it means to love a person. That's why you could say such idiotic things to me. Yin Yin is my world. Without her, this world means nothing. I will give up my body and soul if it means saving her. 1,000 years ago I did so, and 1,000 years later, that is today, I will do the same if needed. Di Song may not be able to remember everything from the past, but he more or less remembers the crucial bits of why he became so weak.